We're waiting for that green light here for a big game. Woo-hoo-hoo! We are on for a massive day of rugby league. Hey guys, how you going? Sit down, BKR Sport. We are live as the Penrith Panthers in 5th position are taking on the Canberra Raiders, who are obviously in 1st position, and this is a belter of a game. And not just this one, but right after this, we obviously have the Melbourne Storm taking on the Canterbury Bulldogs in a game between 2nd and 3rd. Those two teams have not played each other so far this season. That game is sold out. This game here today between the Raiders and the Panthers is actually in Mudgee. So this isn't even actually a Panthers home game, but it is out in country town of Mudgee. A great place, beautiful place out there, and probably, hopefully, a great day for footy with the weather. But look, you better put your seatbelt on, guys, because this is a huge day of rugby league. And actually, I was lying to you. The Panthers aren't actually in 5th position right now. They are in 6th position because the Sharks, with their bye, actually jumped up into the top 4. Yep, I know, crazy. And if the Warriors lose, the Panthers lose, and also the Broncos lose, the Sharks will stay there. But obviously, the Sharks should be dropping out of that top 4 by some point this weekend. But it just shows you how close that top 8 is right now. You know, you've got the top 4 battle raging on tonight. You're going to see the minor premiership battle absolutely rage on with all 3 teams that are in the hunt for it, you know, going head to head basically, and it's going to be a big night. So obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're new around here. We'll be live for both of them, and let's get into this game here first up between the Penrith Panthers and the Canberra Raiders. So the Panthers, they come to this game from 5th position. The Raiders come to this game from 1st position, again 6th position. This is just from pre-round when they were in 5th, but the Panthers are in 6th, Raiders are in 1st, and this is at Glen Willow Oval in Mudgee. Now the ins here, massive in for the Panthers is Yo, with the out being Matty Eisenhuth. The fullback is Dylan Edwards, with the wingers being Thomas Jenkins and Brian To'o. Centers of Isaac Tungle and Casey McLean. The 5'8" is Blaze Halangi. Halfback Nathan Cleary, who is the captain. And then you've got the front row forwards of Moses Leota and Lindsay Smith. The number 9 is Mitch Kenny. Back row, Luke Garner and Liam Martin. With the 13 being Isaiah Papali'i. And then an interchange of Brad Schneider, Liam Henry, Scotty Sorensen and Isaiah Yo. With the 18th minute placement being Paul Adamotti. And the coach is Ivan Cleary. Now, this is the time of the year that I've been saying for months now. Everyone, relax in regards to the recent record of the Panthers, because we're going to see what this team is now. This is where we see if the Panthers are the team of the last couple of years, where they are a real serious, genuine threat to the big dogs of the table, because in that time frame where they won like 8 games in a row and 9 games in a row, whatnot, yeah, there was one really good game there against the Bulldogs where they beat them 8-6, and that was one that you absolutely give them credit for, because that was probably maybe not the best game of the season. Now we've had a couple of really crackers since then, but it was one of the best games of the season. And technically, you could probably give them a top 4 Warriors team, but, you know, the Warriors at that time and still are extremely vulnerable. So I just don't know if that was as huge of a win as the table actually suggests. But the Bulldogs game was. Outside of that, they were beating teams like the Tigers, the Eels. They lost to the Knights in that time frame as well. You know, they beat the Eels again, the Rabbitohs, who were last of the time, Tigers as well. The Titans extremely controversially. And then also the Knights before. They've obviously got this 3-game slant against the Storm, who they did lose to last week, 22-18, and let's not forget the Storm in that game. They didn't have Ryan Papenhuyzen, little mama puppy. They didn't have Jerome Hughes. They didn't have Nelson Asafa-Solomona. They didn't have Will Warbrick. They had players out everywhere. Munster had to play in the fullback position. They put Nick Minnie into the centres, and they had Tyron Wishart and Jonah Pezzett as their halves. So that was a real big excuse there for the Storm to lose that, but yet they were still able to get over the top of them and win through some Harry Grant magic. Absolute magician, that guy. So it was a disservice to them. But with coming into this game, or coming into these 3 weeks against the Storm, the Raiders and the Bulldogs, I did say that if they won all 3 games, then I've got them as the premiership favourites. If they won 2 of them, then I've got them as genuine contenders, and they absolutely should be there come preliminary finals and grand final time. If they only win one of these games, however, it's really going to show that they are a bit faulty still when they're coming up against the big dogs of the competition. Despite the fact they've won 4 premierships in a row, there will be a lot of questions asked about them. The fact that you know, they've had this easier schedule and then come in against the top 3 teams and then struggled. And if they win 0 of the 3, then it really should show you massive fraud alert potential there and massive Yeah, a massive downside to this Panthers team, and then even the Dragons game. Like, the Dragons were awful last night. That was horrific. The first half, statistically, they actually weren't too bad, but like the second half, they got absolutely pounced on. The Rabbitohs actually played a really good game overall. But the point is that these next two games here for the Panthers, they're so desperate to at very least win one of them. But if they can win both of them, then they're still that genuine contender team. Because last week against the Storm, yeah, they lost the game, but they still didn't look too bad. It's just they weren't able to get over the top of Melbourne, which is a very good opponent. But the Storm had a lot of excuses. The Panthers should have been winning that game. They realistically should have been winning that game. There's no arguments about that, but they just didn't do it. So I am a little bit concerned about how they come into these next couple of games, because I would say that they've got a better chance against a team like the Raiders and the Bulldogs, who aren't necessarily renowned top of the table teams like the Melbourne Storm is. The Melbourne Storm know what it's like to be here. They know what it's like to have this pressure and to have that big game potential, whilst the Raiders and Bulldogs, not so much. You know, the Bulldogs, outside of last year, have been really poor for the last decade or so. And the Raiders, yeah, they made the grand final in 2019, but that was kind of a one-off as well. The Raiders have just been here and there since then, while just kind of yo-yoing the top 8. So these two games are very big here for the Panthers to really show their dominance in knowing what it's like to be here. But it's going to be super interesting based off of how they came into last week's game and the fact that this is at a rural ground. Now, for the Canberra Raiders, they've got no ins, no outs, no shake it all abouts. They are the exact same team as they were before their bye last week. Now, the fullback is KO Weeks. The wingers are Jed Stewart and Xavier Savage, centres of Matty Tomoko and Sebastian Chris, and the 5'8" is Ethan Strange, halfback Jamal Fogarty. You go to the front row forwards of Josh Papali'i and Joseph Tarpany, who is the captain. Number 9 is Tom Starling. A back row of Hudson Young and Zach Hosking. The 13 is Corey Horsburgh. Interchange of Owen Paddy, Simi Sasungi, Morgan Smithies, and Ata Mariota. And the 18th man replacement is Noah Martin. The coach is Sticky Ricky Stewart. This is a Raiders team that has surprised pretty much everyone. I was 1 year off kind of predicting their rise. I did say in my post-season review last year, they're super young. I don't think that many people kind of think about Canberra too much, so a lot of people are very likely just to throw Canberra into that last spot or into the bottom 4 immediately. Now, I put them in 9th position with high potential, but not this kind of high potential. I did think that they would be a lot better than what people thought they would be, but this has just been a really miraculous year for them, where they've been able to put themselves into the range to win a premiership for the first time since, I think, 1995, with the same year the Warriors actually came in. They just simply have been there or thereabouts for a long time, but like they haven't won it for a very long time. But this is their best opportunity. Their window is open right damn well now, and they're coming off a bye. They beat Manly pretty well the week beforehand, 28-12. A week before that, though, a little bit stumbly, they lost 18-12 to the Dragons at Wollongong. Now, that was a very difficult game with very difficult conditions, but at the same sense, the same thing has to apply to the Dragons, where they were still in the same conditions and were able to win that game, which was the first loss of the Raiders in a very long time. Some would argue they might have needed that loss. I argue they did need that loss, and you can't really come in with just a complete... And I know it's a weird thing to say, you know, you need a loss to be better in the finals, but it does actually apply in my personal opinion. Before that, they absolutely flogged the Knights 44-18. They flogged the Eels 40-16. Beat the Dragons 28-24. Beat the Knights 22-18. Beat the Tigers 16-12. Beat the Rabbitohs 36-12. Beat the Roosters 26-24. Beat the Warriors 16-10. The Titans 40-24. And their last lot's coming up against the Dogs, who I think they played next week, actually, if I'm not mistaken. No, that might be actually... No, sorry, it's Panthers Bulldogs. I don't think they play against each other. But the Raiders actually led 20-0 in that game before the Dogs came back to win 32-20. But the week beforehand, they did beat the Raiders 20-18. So, look, a lot of those games there were periods where the Raiders weren't looking that great. They were getting wins regardless. Like, they looked like they were out of form. And that's why that Dragons game was starting to look like it was a bit of an omen bet. Like, people just kind of had that vibe, that energy about the Raiders were getting over the line in games, but they weren't doing it really exceedingly as they probably should have against the opponents they were coming up against, especially in that 3-week time frame where they took on the Dragons. They won 28-24. The Knights 22-18 and the 16-12 went over the Tigers. There was just a little bit of something about it where you were just like a little bit irky, thinking, oh yeah, I don't know what's going on here with the Raiders. They might be slipping, but they were able to keep pumping along. Yeah, they got 2 big 40-point wins over the Eels and Knights, and you know, they're fine now. Despite that one loss to the Dragons, I think that was just a hiccup that they needed, and now they punch home in this last stretch with the Panthers, the Tigers, and the Dolphins. So, look, who do I tip here today? It's a very difficult game. I would have expected the Raiders to be favourites considering their first position. and also the Panthers coming off a loss. The Panthers haven't necessarily proven themselves at the top end of the table for the most part of this year, besides maybe that Bulldogs game. Last night I was surprised, because obviously I'm in Vietnam, so I don't see the betting odds over here. I was surprised when people were saying that the Panthers are actually relatively heavy favourites here at like $1.60. I would have thought that the Raiders would have been around that $1.60, $1.70 mark, but considering Penrith's history and the way that they're able to get premierships and the way they're able to win games and just dominate the comp, I feel like that's probably a heavy marker there for why people lean that way. And I think this is a 50-50 game. I think it really is a 50-50 game. I'm actually going to go and tip the Raiders here. I don't know. I really don't know. Last night I got it completely wrong. Last night I thought the Dragons would win and win comfortably. Not that, you can ever confidently tip the Dragons in any game, which is proof last night. But got that one completely wrong. And this year has just been upset central. Upset central. So the Raiders are the upsets here today as well. They would be the upset if they could get it done. This game does look actually sold out here in Mudgee as well, which is good to see. But that would be another upset there. So I'm actually going to tip a Raiders 1-12 here, but this game could absolutely go either way. That's why today is so big. If you're a rugby league fan, there's no way you're not watching both games. You sit in front of the couch right now, you grab your food, you grab your beer, you grab your drinks, and you just chill out and you watch some primetime rugby league. There is no way that anyone who is a rugby league fan or says they're a rugby league fan is not watching both of these absolute crackers, and this one here where we just don't know how it's going to go, and it's going to tell us a lot. If the Raiders lose this game to the Panthers, people are going to start saying, well, are they going to have what it takes when it comes to the finals? Are they going to be dominant enough? Yeah, sure, you've won the regular season so far. Then again, you might drop out of the minor premiership, which we'll get into in a second. The Storm can actually overtake you with a win here today for the Storm and a Raiders loss. But if the Panthers do win this game, there will be questions asked about the Raiders if they have the ability to actually go and win the grand final and to be a big-time team in the finals with the pressure on them, because they haven't had that a great deal over the last couple of decades, really, besides like 2019 and a couple of off years here and there. They've always been competitive, but not at the higher echelon like 2019. And then if the Panthers lose this game today, that's 2 straight losses against 2 big-time teams, the first and second place team. Would the Panthers have gotten to the point now where it is a little bit too much? And yeah, sure, you can beat all these lower table teams like the Tigers twice and like the Eels twice, and controversially over the Titans and the Knights and all that kind of jazz, who they did lose from one of those games despite having all their origin players out. So the Panthers will have an exceedingly amount of questions asked about them, thinking maybe they are going to be quite doubtful when it comes to the big time. And technically speaking, the Panthers aren't actually guaranteed for the top 8 yet. They're not technically there. They will be. They will get there. But at the end of the day, they've got this game here against the Raiders. They've got next week on Thursday night against the Bulldogs, which is a belter to start us off again. And then in round 27, they take on the Dragons. So they just need to win one of those 3 games to guarantee their spot in the top 8, but also it would rely upon the Broncos, the Roosters, and the Dolphins. Well, not winning all their games, but Dolphins winning all 3 of their games, starting this week against Manly. The Roosters winning 2 of their games, and Broncos winning 1 of their final 3. If that was the case, and Panthers didn't win from here on out, they actually wouldn't make the top 8. But I highly doubt that. They realistically should. But anyway, let's get into the ladder here. I'm going to tip the Raiders 1-12. I'm surprised they're not favourites, but it's going to be super damn well close. It's 50-50 for me. Now, the Canberra Raiders, they are in first position on 40 points, 2 points clear of the Melbourne Storm on 38. Now, they've got a points differential of plus 168. The Storm have a points differential of plus 252. Now, that will come into play if the Raiders lose this. But if they win this, obviously they will stay first position this week. They will not be moving. And for me, I've probably got that meaning that they're probably guaranteed for the minor premiership, because they realistically shouldn't be struggling in these final couple of games, especially coming into the finals. They need that momentum. That 1 loss against the Dragons is fine, but 2 losses, you're like, okay, now we're going to start talking. But if they lose this game, then they have to hope that the Bulldogs do them a favour and beat the Storm. Now, that would actually bring the Bulldogs back into the minor premiership equation if the Raiders lost this and the Bulldogs won, but it would be better for the Raiders because they would stay first and the Storm wouldn't go up there into first position. So if the Raiders lose, there is a pretty solid chance, a pretty likely chance as well, considering the Storm are favourites for that game, there's a likely chance they will drop down into second position and the Storm will go up into first position. Now, the Panthers, on the other hand, they're in sixth position on 31 points. Obviously, that draw with the Cowboys has meant that their points differential means absolutely jack shit. Plus 115, just for the people, the punter out there who want to know. But that points differential means absolutely nothing. So plus 31, they win this game. They would, for the time being, go back up into the top 4. Now, the Sharks have had a bye, so they wouldn't be able to jump back above the Panthers, but the Warriors do play the Gold Coast Titans tomorrow. The Titans are their bogey team, as we've said to death on here, but look, the Warriors realistically should win that game, but it's no guarantee. They lost to them 4 weeks ago over there in New Zealand, but if the Panthers win, they would go into 4th position, and then just have to hope that the Titans do beat the Warriors to keep the Warriors out of that top 4. But if the Panthers lose this game, now this is where it will get tricky. So the Broncos, they play the Newcastle Knights on Sunday. Broncos, if you lose that game, please relocate your club after what we saw from the Newcastle Knights last week. Honestly, relocate you to Tajikistan because that would be a poor loss. I know it's Old Boys Day there in Newcastle, but that would be a really poor loss with how the Knights, their trajectory is, and the Broncos' aspirations, right? I understand you've got injuries, but anyway, we'll talk about that on Sunday. Point matter is if the Broncos win that game and the Panthers lose, the Panthers will drop down into 7th position. Now, that is the lowest that they can go. However, the Roosters, they take on the Eels, I think, tomorrow. If the Roosters win that, they would only be 1 point short of where the Panthers are. And again, the Panthers do have to take on a big-time team in the Bulldogs next week on Thursday night. So they'd be only 1 point away from going into 8th position. If they lost that Dogs game, they could drop down. But the Dolphins are on 26 points. So, yeah, they're 5 points clear, and the Panthers should be safe. But if the Panthers lost this, then the Dolphins, if they were to go and beat Manly on Saturday, then the Dolphins, they're not going to jump up anywhere unless the Roosters lose, but then they would only be 3 points away from the Panthers. Now, there is only 2 games left after this weekend, which means that the Dolphins would still have to win both of their games, and the Panthers would have to lose both of their games. One of them is a decent shout. The other one against the Dragons, after what we saw yesterday, surely the Dragons don't win that, but it'd be so funny if the Dragons could find a way, if the Panthers lost the Dogs next week, the Dragons could find a way to beat them, and then the Dolphins just sneak in over the top of them. That would be just a crazy scene, a turn of events, considering everyone getting around that hype of the Panthers in that mid-section of the season as they came out of absolutely nowhere from the bottom of the table. So the Panthers are actually still playing to fight for their top 8 credentials, but all they would need is the Dolphins to lose 1 game anyway, and the Dolphins, they've been giving up points, like I've read recently. They've been giving up points galore, even to a Broncos team that had no halves. They they lost both their halves in Ezra Mann and Adam Reynolds. But there you go, guys. That's the table. Panthers, they win. There's a chance of them going to 4th position by the end of the weekend, depending on that Warriors result. And if they lose, then there is a good likely chance that they will drop into 7th position and out of a home final spot with the Broncos surely beating the Knights. Broncos, surely, don't do it. Don't even give me the ammunition. Don't even give me the ammunition, Broncos. Do not give me the ammunition. Come on, come on, son. What are you doing? What are you doing? All right, let me just refresh this chat. Let's move this bad boy across over here, and let's get going for a big day here on the chat. Oh, my goodness me. Let's get going for an absolutely massive day here on the chat. Move that bad boy across here. S773 Sean says, thanks for all the info on all the games, BK Sports. We do what we can, man. We do what we can. Lots to get through, so it's just really good context for people to understand kind of what goes into the game rather than just going, yep, I'm tipping this, and simply said, because if you do that and you just say, oh, yep, I'm tipping this, and then you get it wrong, well, then you look like a major muppet. But if you explain why you're tipping what you're tipping, then it's like, well, in hindsight, sure, you were wrong, but at least people can understand why you thought like this, why you thought that this was the better chance of happening. Because at the end of the day, tipping is very, very difficult. Ricky Stewart said openly that he's one of the worst tippers in his competition. And we all know Ricky Stewart, Sticky Ricky, knows what he's doing in rugby league. He's the coach of the team in first position right now. So it's like tipping is a very difficult thing to do because at the end of the day, these are all professional rugby league teams, even in 17th. I know it may not look like it a lot of the time, but even the teams in 17th are still professional rugby league players, right? So anything can happen, but that's why we really kind of reinstate and go through all the stats and what we're thinking, because it does help people to understand where you're at and what you're looking into. 773 Sean says, who's rooting for the Raiders? Well, I'm tipping the Raiders here today. I'm tipping, but it's a very difficult game to predict. Very difficult game. Zach says Panthers 30-22. That's a very high-scoring game. If you look at the statistics defensively, the Raiders have given up 418 points this year. Now, that's worse off than the Storm. It's worse off than the Bulldogs. It's not worse off than the Warriors. It's worse off than the Panthers. They're the 4th best defensive team. Let me just go make sure the Knights, 486. So they're the 4th best defensive team in the competition, the Raiders, but the Panthers are the 3rd best defensive team in the comp, with 401 points given up. Now, that is through 21 games. Sharks, they've had 22 games, so that's a little bit of an outlier there. But between the Raiders and the Panthers, they are 21 games in, and the Raiders are 4th best defense, Panthers are 3rd best defense. And then when you go to the attack, The Raiders have scored 596 points this year, which is worse off than the Storm, and the Dolphins. And the Dolphins with 593, because they can score points, but they do love to concede them there, Redcliffe. So they are the third best attacking team in the competition, just behind the Dolphins and the Storm, whilst the Panthers have scored 516, which is worse off than the Raiders, the Storm, the Sharks, the Broncos, the Roosters, the Dolphins. Yes, they're seventh on attack, whilst the Raiders are third on attack, and then it's third versus fourth, Panthers, Raiders, in regards to the defense. So, look, both teams can definitely attack, but both teams have really solid defense. So we could easily be seeing a 14-12 game here. We could easily be seeing a 10-8 game. You know, we're 16-12. I don't know if we're going to see a high-scoring game. Does it have the ability to with the attacking foray of these teams, especially the Raiders? Yeah, sure. But defensively, if both these teams are going to be anything big time in the finals, they've really got to be honing in on their defense, and this is a prime time game to do that. So it could go one of two ways. I'd probably lean more towards the lower end. I'd probably lean more towards the under being hit, but again, both attacks can definitely have a bit of a flurry. Abinaya says close to Gulgong. Close to Gulgong. Gulgong? Are you saying Mudgie's close to Gulgong? I'm not too sure what your comment means there, man, but are you saying Mudgie's close to Gulgong? I'm not too sure, but fair enough. Dasmate says, today is a footy fan's wet dream. Also, Suns clinching the 8 tonight. Well, who do the Sunnies play? Who do the Sunnies play? I know this is AFL, but I just want to quickly have a look, because it'd be cool to see them get there first. Oh, Port Adelaide. Oh, in Port as well. All right, well, you know, you should. You should do it, Daz. You should do it. Go to the Gold Coast. Up to the Gold Coast. You know, minor premiers here in the NRL, and the Sunnies looking for their first finals appearance in history. T says, this game's going to be a cracker. Let's go the Raiders, and then Storm versus Doggies. What a Friday. What a Friday. What a way to get us rocking and rolling. You know, Rabbitohs Dragons last night never looked like it was going to be a belter. It did end up being a belter, but just for one team, though. Yeah, no, the Dragons got absolutely belted. They got hit past anything you could ever think of. They got absolutely slaughtered beyond anything you could think of. I can't even believe that they allowed the Rabbitohs to score any points. But the Rabbitohs were very good. They were very good too. Lagan says this is going to be the greatest lineup of footy in a day of all time. I just hope it lives up to the expectations. I really hope that it lives up to the expectations. 10 minutes to go until the kickoff, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. But I hope it lives up to the expectations, because as we always say here on the channel, a lot of the time when you look at the best games on paper and the ones that look like are going to be absolute rip snorters are the ones that actually kind of fizzle out, and one team kind of just dominates because they've got two teams that can dominate. So you'd look at that and say, well, because they can both dominate, maybe surely it's going to be an extremely close game. But then when it comes to the actual crunch of it, one team just kind of has that extra domination, and they're able to win by, you know, maybe 12 points, maybe 18 points, or 20 points, and just kind of convincingly win it, which adds a lot of questions to, obviously, the team that loses. But a lot of the time we do look at it, and it ends up being a bit of a fizzler. Sometimes they can be completely the opposite and be absolute belters, like last Thursday between the Storm and the Panthers. That lived up to every expectation possible. But then you look at the games that look awful, like absolutely awful games, like Titans-Panthers a couple of weeks ago. Everyone would have thought that was going to be a blowout of epic proportions. At half-time, it was 24-0 to the Panthers, and we're thinking, well, what the shit is this? And then it ended up being an absolute screamer of a game. Ended up being a screamer. So, like, you never really know, but I would guarantee at least one of these two games will be really good. At least one of them. They both should be, but at least one of them should be. 773 Sean says, can we say that Raiders score 18.5 points at plus 100? Do they score? Again, it's so hard, man. It is really hard to predict how many points are in this game because they're both very good defenses. I really don't know how to. I would lean with being more confident in an under being hit here today, but it's just so hard. It is so difficult to read into this. T says, hey, I just noticed the Titans are number 1. Well, you should notice it from the start of the season because they haven't moved from there all season long. James Stevens says that Broncos go unbeaten for the rest of the season. Yeah, I know you're a Broncos fan, mate. You say the same thing every single stream. Didn't get your words after Broncos losses, though. But realistically, you should win the next 2 games. But for the 553rd billionth time, you do play the Storm, who have a 70% win record at Suncorp Stadium. And the Broncos are still going to have to beat them to go undefeated. So unbeaten for the rest of the season. So I don't agree with you, mate. But I do have you winning the next 2 games. I do have you winning against the Knights on Sunday. Jay says, James circle jerk elsewhere. Again, he loves his Broncos, but I don't know what else he wants me to say here. I don't know what else you want me to do, buddy. Michael Paul says, Sharks are fourth and ladder with the Wars. Sorry, I didn't update the ladder. No, my bad, son, my bad. I should do this so the Sharkies fans can get up and celebrate being in the top four for maybe about 80 minutes here. Maybe potentially about 80 minutes if the Panthers had to win this game. But I will go and quickly update this ladder. We've still got 6 minutes to go until the game kicks off here. Let me move that little bad boy there. Let's go there, and then I'm going to have to change a couple of these fraud alerts around. Deary me, I have to change these fraud alerts around. Too many fraud alerts to think of. All right, so Bulldogs, you're still on the fraud alert until maybe you beat the Storm today. If you beat the Storm, you'll be off of fraud alert. Sharks, you kind of controversially got off it last week, but you're definitely a good shout for the rest of the season. Why is this being really annoying right now? It's been really annoying. There we go. Warriors, you are still there controversially as well. And Broncos, you're still on it. But if you win this week, I know it's against the Knights, but if you win this week, I'll be pretty happy to probably just take you off it. This is really annoying me as I'm trying to move this fraud alert there. And there we go. And then Dolphins, I've seen a bigger fraud alert in my life, and that was the Cronulla Sharks for most of this season. But you are still a very major fraud alert there. So there we go. That is the fraud alert's done. They're a little bit wonky, though. Oh, my gosh. They're a bit wonky, like the Titans season. And, oh my gosh, it keeps moving. It keeps moving around. We'll just leave it like that. If it looks wonky, well, you know, it is what it is, mate. It is what it is. We've got Olivia, member for 28 months. I bought a plant to feel mature. It died in days. There is no cure. I gave it sun. I gave it talk. Turns out it's plastic. I'm in shock. Can't believe I've survived this long. I can't believe I survived to the end of that comment there, Olivia. But thank you very much for being a member for 28 months. You know we always appreciate you here. But I can't believe I survived to the end of that comment. Olivia Reed with the $8 donation. Get around, Olivia. Says another day, another dono. Happy Friday, everyone. Having a cheeky beer to celebrate. Have a cheeky beer, have a couple, have a couple. What a day of footy. But don't get too drunk because you do want to remember these 2 games of footy. But thank you very much, Olivia, for the donation. Laurie says, hi, Blaze. Who is the ref of this game? Hopefully not Ashley Klein, please. God help us if it is Ashley Klein, but I guarantee you it probably is. It is, no, it's Grant Atkins. No, it is Grant Atkins, so I'm sure that means that Ashley Klein is going to be at the Doggies versus Storm game. He's going to be at the Doggies versus Storm game down there in Melbourne, so good luck to both those teams there. Good luck. To be fair, he actually had a pretty good game last week between the Storm and the Panthers. I know Panthers fans were complaining, but it's just the most ridiculous. I still can't believe they were complaining as heavily as they were in regards to the Harry Grant situation. Because at the end of the day, sure, he milked it, but it was a penalty. It was a penalty. It's as simple as that. It's literally textbook. It is textbook. That's why the entire NRL world, except for Panthers fans, was saying the same thing. But Panthers fans were like, no, it's not acceptable. It's like, well, the first ever penalty for this situation, the first ever penalty actually happened for the Panthers against the Storm a few years ago. It was the exact same thing where Cleary was obstructed by maybe Lindsay Smith or someone. I can't remember who it was for the Panthers. Maybe Moses Leota. No, not Moses Leota. It was from the Storm, sorry. So someone from the Storm was there, and it was a penalty. So I couldn't believe they were still going on about it for days and days. They'll probably still be going on it for weeks and weeks. And then they had the audacity. This was the kicker. This was the ultimate kicker from Panthers fans. They had the audacity to say Storm are cheaters. They had the audacity after what we saw against the Titans 2-3 weeks ago. They had the audacity to come out and say, as a collective, the Storm are cheaters. If there is any team that the Panthers have copied over the years in regards to trying to, do what Cameron Smith did and do what the Storm do to try and, elevate their team via kind of skirting around the rules, it's the team that you're talking about there. It's the Storm. The Panthers have taken a lot of aspects from their success and utilising their own game. It was just, it was an amazing turn of events. Amazing week. Amazing turn of events there from Penrith fans. But the Raiders are coming out of the field here. They are coming out of the field. Getting ready to rock and roll, son. Getting ready to rock and roll. Josie Parr says, are both teams full strength? Raiders are, except for obviously Civilio Tamale, who went out earlier in the season. That's why Jed Stewart is there. But outside of that, the Raiders are full strength, unless I'm missing anyone who I don't think my brain is clicking on to anyone missing. For the Panthers, I'm pretty certain they've got everyone here too, no? I'm pretty certain. Yeah, I'm pretty certain. Panthers fans, you could probably... Well, Isaiah Yo's on the bench, but he's still on the team. Usually he would be the starting 13. But Panthers fans, if you are missing, someone big time, then please let me know in the chat. Off the top of my head, though, it looks like both these teams are pretty full strength. Darcy says, Suns still got a make-up game on Wednesday. They do. Bretzy says, no poo slingers today, please. I don't think so. I don't think it'll be happening. Axis says, Broncos going to be a top 4 at the end of the season. Okay. Broncos fans, you give us free ammunition to shit on you. You give us free ammunition to absolutely shit on you. What are we doing? What are we doing? Before the Dolphins game last week, we had Broncos fans saying that potentially they might not even be making the top 8. Now they're thinking they're probably going to be making the top 8, because they've got 2 easy matchups for the Storm. We've got in that top 4. For gosh sake, Broncos. Oh my gosh, can we act like we've been here before? Laurie says, saw Big Tino chose the Kangaroos, got on him, follow his heart. Happy with whatever he chose, man. Whatever he feels is best for himself. Script says, anybody got thoughts on Haas going to Samoa? I love it, mate. I love it. I think it's great. If it's his choice, if he can represent Samoa, he can represent Australia, he can represent whoever he wants, in regards to the fact that it makes him most proud. I do think stipulations need to happen in regards to the eligibility for Origin and, being able to swap and change at will. But I do think that I want players to be able to go to these international teams and these Islander teams to really grow the international game, right? That's my opinion. But the game is about to kick off. The Raiders will slab it on down, and the Panthers will get this ball here at the 5 through Dylan Edwards, who passes up to Moses Leota, and the first hit of the game will be at the 15. Okay, the score is refreshed. Jay's not crying, but we're ready to cry emotionally over such a good couple of games of footy. Now, second tackle here for the Panthers, and they're going to beat the 15. Geez, they got slapped back from the 20 to 15 there. Chris Martin says, morning all from out... Oh, gee whiz. Third table with the Panthers at 25. Chris Martin says, morning all from out of London, here for some top footy. Yeah, you got to get away from the rain in England, mate. Got to get away from the rain in England. You got some great rugby league here early on in the morning for you. So fifth tackle here for the Panthers at the 35. And Nathan Cleary will kick this ball into the corner. Good kick that finds grass and will land around the 10 where KO Weeks picks it up and he'll bring it out to about the 20. Good post contact there. Broke through the tackle but obviously still gets taken down. Luke Alexander says, Olivia going to get boozed up and tell us about her plastic plant? Should be an interesting night. Yeah, Olivia doesn't mind a nice little random story to go along with a donation or a membership drop there. Yeah, no, she doesn't mind a good old run-up story. And I'm sure we're going to hear about pop plans and we're going to hear about just the most random things possible. But as Olivia, she's on a high. The Broncos got a win over the Dolphins last week. Fourth tackle here for the Raiders at the 45 on their own side of the field. And yeah, you will be a bit frustrated with the camera angle today if you are watching the game alongside me, because it is at Mudgee, so this stadium is very different. It's not as high. It's a very level stadium there, so it will be a completely different angle to what you're used to. Dylan Edwards will get this ball here at the 20, and it'll be first tackle. Ben Fricker says, Bronchokes still get the fraud alert even if they do smash the Knights. If Cowboys can smash the Knights, then Bronchokes will absolutely smash the Knights. Well, Broncos play the Cowboys next week. Which will be interesting, but I still can't believe the Cowboys had 23 errors. 23, the most in the season was Cowboys, Knights and Roosters collectively on 17. 17 errors. The Cowboys scored 38 points and smashed the Knights with 23 errors. They broke the record by 100 last week, and they still won. They killed them. So fourth tackle now for the Panthers. The game was so bad for both teams, but yet the Cowboys were just able to absolutely annihilate the Newcastle Knights. So Nathan Cleary kicks it on last into space again. It's a good kick, and Savage drops it, but it goes backwards, and Xavier Savage gets blown to the 3. Did anyone watch that Xavier Savage documentary? Was it good? Was it, there's obviously a lot of criticism for why Xavier Savage, but was the documentary good? Jacob says, that's what highlights are for, especially Sunday UFC matches, to rehash the memory. Absolutely. Daniel Bates says, wow, this looks like an amazing setting for the match. Mudgee is beautiful, dude. Mudgee's beautiful. Third tackle for the Rays. They're not making a great deal of meters on this set. Jeez, fourth tackle here, and they're only at their own 20. Sebastian Chris gets a few extra meters, but yikes, this is not a great set here from Canberra. But no, I was in Mudgee, I think, in 2021, Tom Trbojevich's season. Hudson Young, good offload there after some good meters, and now Corey Horsburgh tries to use some footwork. Stop it, mate. Stop it, Horse. Oh, good offload though. Okay, this is saving this Raiders set. They got out of the 45. They got out of the 45 on fit tackle through a nice couple of offloads from Hudson Young and Corey Horsburgh. But no, Mudgie's beautiful. I went there and that's the thing. That's why I just love the game and I'm passionate for the game of rugby league because I went to Mudgee, watched my team get absolutely slaughtered 38-0 by Manly and Tom Trbojevic. In a game that we were heavy favourites for because Manly was struggling at that point of the year, but when Tom Trbojevic came back that game, he just killed us. But I had a great time with a good friend of mine, Rhonda, from the front line, Titans front line, and we just had a great time down there and enjoyed it, and it was just, it was beautiful. It was beautiful, especially waking up in the countryside. It was nice and cool, one of those fresh mornings. It was just unbelievable. So the Panthers now, 4 tackle, they'll be at the 38 on their own side of the field. Lagan says, Panthers are full strength. Raiders are missing Tamale and Nicholson. Yeah, so nothing too drastic. Nicholson has been very solid for them when he's there. Tamale as well, but nothing too drastic. So I will go and say they're both full strength, but on a technical basis, yes, sure. Tavalia, Tamale and Nicholson are out. Chelsea Pass has been raining a bit here in Melbourne. So it's going to be raining for tonight's game. Ooh, Doggies fans won't like that. No, you beat the Wars, but Doggies fans won't like that in the rain. 5 minutes in here, Rays with the ball at 35. I do think besides that set where the Rays struggled for metres out of their own 20, I do think the Rays have probably been the better in this first 5 minutes, just with field position. Cleary's kicking game has been quite solid, but a second tackle for the Rays at the 45 on their own side of the field. They're already in the attack and a half. I do think the Raiders have had the better of the ball in this first 5 minutes to assert a little bit of dominance. Lagan says, scoreboard, mate. Thank you for letting me know about the scoreboard, but here's the issue here, Lagan. You are lagging because the scoreboard is scoreboarding. The score is live, mate. I even mentioned, Hudson Young shoves off a couple, and he'll be at the 25 on fit tackle. David says, if Raiders lose and Storm win, does the Storm go top? They absolutely do. They absolutely do. But the Raiders get this ball down into the corner, but Edwards with a great grab, and he'll be taken down to the 10. First tackle. Jacob Cooper says, what does fraud alert mean? Well, let's try and figure out what fraud means. That's a short version of fraudulent. And what do we reckon alert means? And then once we figure out what fraud and alert means, then we can try and piece them together. And that's a knock on here from the Panthers. Well, there's a fraud alert if I ever did see one there from the Panthers. First zero tackle for the Raiders, 10 metres out. What are you doing, Edwards? Like, they're just going to take it back either way. Like, he's only gone like 3 metres, so there's no point stripping it. But Biffo, someone throw a punch. You cats. Throw an uppercut or something. Come on, get us going. Like I said, camera angle isn't even that bad. It's not that bad, but I just know that a lot of people will kind of be annoyed by the fact that it's quite lower than when it's up higher. Not that bad. But it is knock on there from the Panthers. So the Raiders are going to get a fresh set here, 10 metres out from the line. Mitchell says, the people who watch the documentary are the same people who plays the rugby league. I genuinely just want to know if it was good. Like, I want to know if it's worth my time to watch. And that's not an insult to Xavier Savage. It's just like, one, it's a bit of a random play to do it on. But if it's a great story, I'm happy to watch it. 6 again for the Raiders, 10 metres out. Tom Starling off to Corey Horsburgh, the first attacking opportunity for either team in this game. 5 metres out here from Canberra. 5 metres out. And Tom Starling off to Jamal Fogarty. Let's see if this is a high-scoring attacking game or if it's a high defensive game. Because, again, both teams very good defensively. Third and fourth, respectively. Second tackle now, 6 metres away. Tom Starling out to Jamal Fogarty. Jamal Fogarty gives it to Matty Tomoko. Tomoko gets the offload away to Tom Starling. Starling, a little bit of stutter step. He'll flick the ball over to the left-hand side. Here, they've got numbers galore. Sebastian Chris. And he'll be taken down to the 5. He backed himself, but he wasn't able to get through. Dylan Edwards and Nathan Cleary. Short ball to Corey Horsburgh. Probably wasn't the play there. It's going to be 4 tackle, 2 metres out now from the line. 2 metres out. They roll it back to Tom Starling. Off to Jim. No, hits the grass. Oh, that's bad from Canberra. Oh, what is that? That is bad. KO Weeks, I'm sorry, but that wasn't acceptable. I know it was an awful pass. I know it was a really awful pass, but, you know, just take your time with it and grab the ball. The Panthers' pressure wasn't on for that exact tackle. They were still a while away. You could have easily just slowed it down. But I know it's a bad pass there from Tom Starling regardless, but KO Weeks, he should have been doing better there regardless as well. So both of them are at fault. Daz mate says, don't give me that, oh shit, we won in the rain, it's all a myth. Daz, you're not on scam. You're not. You know, the dogs are not on scam, Daz mate. Yeah, the dogs are not on scam. You know, you confuse. Oh, Panthers away here. Brian To'o at the 40, the 45, the 50. He's at the 40. Good run from Brian To'o, where the Raiders will get back in time to stop him at the 25. Okay, well, this just changed. Well done, Tom Starling, Co Weeks. You've gone from being on the attack and set to now being completely on the defensive. Now it's Luke Garner. He's 20 metres out from the line, second tackle. That came out of nowhere. That was awful defence from Canberra off that scrum. He's lost the ball. No, he's lost it. I don't think it's a penalty. Oh, they're going to say it was a strip. They're going to say it was a strip. Maybe they think about the 2 here. Maybe they think about the 2. Alpha Kappa says Penrith a great defensive wall of China. Sure, but the Raiders kind of knocked that on their own will rather than the Panthers being exceptional defensively. Obviously, they stopped them in the first 3 tackles or whatever, but the Raiders kind of did it to themselves. But they don't go for the 2s. The Panthers are going to be 10 metres out here from the line. Give it to Blaze Salungi, then off to Isaiah Papali'i, and he's going to be 5 metres away now. First tackle. They roll it back to Mitch Kenny. Kenny's got Leota, a little bit of a stutter run, and they'll be 5 metres out, second tackle. 10 minutes into the first half here, guys. Hit that like button and subscribe if you're new around here. Still 0-0. Lindsay Smith off to Isaiah Papali'i. Decent enough run there. He's 3 metres out, third tackle. Third tackle, 6 again. We'll get a set restart here, the Panthers. And Nathan Cleary off to Isaac Tungo, and he's going to be 5 metres away from the line. First tackle, right back into the centre. Mitch Kenny, he'll give it to Lindsay Smith for another run through the forwards, and that was a good run. It's going to be a penalty here for a high tackle. Okay, Grant Atkins, I want to see this one because I didn't see it being high, but I would love to see this one again. Okay, here we go. And Sure. Like, it is. He mainly hits his shoulder. Like, he majorly hits his shoulder like this, but sure, it is the correct call. Laza says, don't know why the bookies had Panthers such favourites. Feels like a coin toss. Absolutely. Absolutely. I would have thought that the Raiders would have. Grant Atkins is currently warning the Raiders about their ill discipline at the moment. They probably should take the 2 here, Panthers. You would expect from right in front. They're not. They're going to go for the try. They're going to try to assert their dominance. Well, let's see if this works out. Panthers, 4 metres out. They choose to not take the 2 from right in front in a game against first position. You wouldn't see that much across the competition, but the Panthers back themselves here. Second tackle, 5 metres away. Mitch Kenny, he's going to go out to Nathan Cleary. Cleary at the 10, back to Isaac Tungo. And Tungo will be 5 metres short, third tackle. Let's see this Canberra Raiders defence. Let's see the Raiders defence. They have been a lot better defensively in this back half of the season than the earlier points. Nathan Cleary, Blaze Salungi. 3 metres short, fourth tackle. Good defence at the moment. Be close to a 6 again there, but they won't call it. Casey McLean up to Cleary, then to Mitch Kenny. This is kind of falling apart, this set now, though. Fifth tackle, 4 metres away. They give it out to Nathan Cleary. Cleary to Dylan Edwards. Edwards gets it all. Great defense. Sebastian Chris, that was spectacular. Rush out of the line, puts the pressure on the play, makes the tackle, and the Raiders will get the ball here at the 15. That is really good stuff there from Sebastian Chris. And as I was saying around that third tackle, it was seeming like the Panthers' good momentum that they were getting from that breakaway from Brian To'o, a couple of 6 agains and the penalty and whatnot. It was really... It was starting to falter, and then it did falter with the good defense from the Raiders. So maybe I might be onto something in regards to leaning with the under rather than the over, despite the fact that both teams can attack, but both teams are very good defensively. But the Panthers will be ruining the fact they didn't take the 2 because they would have been up 2-0. Kogamu says, just a reminder, this is a serious channel. Jokes won't be tolerated. No joking here, mate. No joking here. And I'm not joking when I say the Raiders kick that ball on third tackle down inside the 20. Now Dylan Edwards, he'll bring it out to the 30 and it'll be first tackle. No joking here, Kogamu. I can't even believe. I think it's actually quite wild and uncalled for that you've even suggested that maybe there might be a joke on this channel. We've never done that before in our lives, Kogamu. So you've got to really have a word to yourself about that one and really think about that in future. Third tackle now to 42. Dazmate says, game soft. Raiders need to assert dominance back with a good old dick twist. Okay, thank you, Dazmate, for the reminder about the old dick twist there. Brian To'o, he'll be taken down to the 45 on the Raiders side of the field. And, that's a knock on there from Hudson Young. Yeah, 6 again. Yeah, so it's going to be 0 tackle here for the Panthers at the 45. Well, the Raiders are giving every opportunity here for the Panthers to take the lead. They are. 0 tackle at the 40. Script says Panthers turning into the Dogs. Panthers turning into the Dogs. What's your reference there, Script? What, the Panthers are turning into the Dogs? The 4-time premiers are turning into the Dogs? Or were you thinking the Dogs have turned to the Panthers and now they're very similar in the way they play? So Mitch Kenny off the Blaze Salungi. Salungi at the 10, off to Nathan Cleary. Cleary at the back of the case McLean. There probably would have been an obstruction if he scored. So he does, and he's 3 metres out. They give it out to Nathan Cleary. Nathan Cleary to Lindsay Smith. Lindsay Smith to Dylan Edwards. Edwards now steps inside. He'll be 7 metres away. 4 tackle. Not taking the 2. Thank you, Scripps. Okay. You can understand why I was a little bit confused, though. You can understand a little bit that it's going to be a dropout here from the Raiders to the Panthers. Dropout coming up. Nice kick there from Nathan Cleary. Brent the 10 says, remember when Panthers had brown and white tops? Yuck. That is old school. They do it one time a year, don't they? The old brown and white tops. Not a fan. Not a massive fan. Shannon says, in the immortal words of MJ, beat it. Exactly right. Laurie says, Raiders better defensive wall of China. I've seen a couple of comments about the Great Wall of China today. Didn't wake up thinking we'd have multiple comments about the Great Wall of China in today's streams, but here we are. We are here. So the Panthers, Isaiah Papali'i, there was a long dropout there from the Raiders. We've forgotten about the short dropouts nowadays, guys. If you're a bad team, you probably go for the short dropout, but if you're a good team, they're definitely more likely inclined to go for the far dropout. And now it's a 6 again here for Penrith at the 30. The Raiders have been super ill-disciplined in regards to giving away 6 agains. And I think if the Panthers were to get a penalty here, they would probably take the 2 this time rather than avoid it like last time. Arguably, that should have been a set restart again. Lindsay Smith up to Nathan Cleary. Cleary steps inside here. Cleary steps away again. He'll be 4 metres short. And it'll be 3rd tackle. They roll back to Mitch Kenny. He goes short. Here's a crash play. Good defence from Canberra on the line. 4 tackle, 1 metre out. That's really good defence. Really good defense, and they give it to Blaze Lungy. Not a great pass there. They kick it through. That's not great. That's not great. And it's going to be, I think, a Panthers try here out of nowhere. That was awful. That was one of the most awful tries you're ever going to see, but the Panthers have scored. It's 4-0 with a kid to come. That was actually awful. That was actually awful, but the Panthers have scored. That was awful. That was awful. But the Panthers do score 4-0 here with a kick to come. Just the ricochet from everywhere. Like, here we go. So Blaze Lungy, he's got nothing there. He kicks it through. It hits Zach Hoskin, goes into Fogarty, and then it bounces again into, geez, just everyone. That was that was dreadful. But regardless, who cares if it's dreadful or not? The fact is the Panthers do have the try, unless he knocked it on there, McLean. Unless he knocks it on there, but I'm pretty certain he's fine. Chelsea Parts of the hell was that? It was something. It was definitely something. Talangi definitely didn't plan for that to happen. It's actually an accidental offside as well. I'm pretty certain he gets this. I'd like to see an angle of him picking up that ball, but I'm pretty certain he probably gets it. Livy says, Titans are the real champions. Yeah, we know that. Yeah, we know that for sure. Desmo says, Matt Burton wannabe almost scored. So they haven't confirmed it yet, but I'm pretty certain it should be fine. The hell was that? Ben says, I guess it's a TRY try time for the Panthers. Well, it looks like at the moment it hasn't come up with try confirmed on the screen. Now it has been try confirmed. So 4-0 here, and now Nathan Cleary to take the conversion. Well, that was a shitfest of a try, but it was a try nonetheless. Brett the Tent loves dog. Yeah, we know it. Yeah, we know it. Who hasn't had a bit of dog in their life, you know? All right, so Nathan Cleary to make it a 6-0 ball game. That's exactly what he does. 6-0 to the Panthers, 16 minutes into the first half. Laurie says, Daz, Burton with the high kicks to space against the Storm. Going to be a cracker game too. Should be an absolute belt of that one. Whilst we are about to witness the greatest comeback from bottom of the ladder to champions again up the Panthers. Yeah, I disagree personally, mate, but I think this has been a good turnaround regardless for the Panthers. I think that they're still... I don't know if they're going to be able to... Like, with the way the game situated itself last week with the Storm and the fact that the Storm had a lot of players out, like, I actually tipped the Panthers 1-12 in that game on the basis that the Storm were without Jerome Hughes. They were without Little Mullen, Ryan Pappenhausen. They were without Will Warbrick and Nelson Asafa-Solomona and the likes, right? So I did tip the Panthers 1-12, but they still lost that game. And I said that if the Storm had their full-strength team, I was going to tip them. But they didn't, and they won anyway. So I still think the Storm win this game, win the grand final personally. But I would love to see somebody else to do it, not the Storm Panthers or the Roosters, just for the sake of a fresh comp. But I don't think that the Panthers are going to be able to do it in the finals. But hey, listen, I could easily be wrong. The second tackle now at the 30. Let's see them win at least 2 of these 3 games here. They've lost their first game to the Storm, so now they've got to beat the Raiders and the Bulldogs. Good chance to do it. Good chance to do it, but obviously hasn't been done yet. So Luke Garner, he'll get this ball to the 47 on 4 tackle. Don't know why his eye probably even complained there that was a tackle off the ball. You literally ran into the line. So it's going to be Nathan Cleary. Cleary gives it off to Isaac Tungo. Tungo here at the 45, and he'll be taking down the 40 on fit tackle. Livy says, we heard you the first time. We did. Dasmo says, holy shit, it's Nathan Cleary under that headgear. I thought it was Brad Schneider. Brad Schneider, Canberra Raiders legend, mate, and Penrith Panthers legend. And KO Weeks, he's going to break out to the left-hand side, gets away, and now be taken out the 15. Being serious, no jokes on here, Brent. I would expect nothing less, mate. I'd expect nothing less. Let's be real serious and knuckle down. Second tackle here at the 23. Let's not get silly. No getting silly here. I will say the Raiders are struggling in regards to their meters for the most part. Like, they saved one of their sets with a couple of good offloads from Hosking and whatnot earlier on in the game in the first couple of minutes, and there's another offload there from Hosking. He's getting some great offloads today, but they go down to the right side, and again, they're just not able to get meters for tackle. At the 35, it really does come down to that real simple error from Tom Starling and KO Weeks, which, you know, turned the game on its head and gave the Panthers all the ball with a breakaway from Brian To'o. Future Dolphins legend, that Snyder bloke. Oh, did he summon the Dolphins, did he? That's a great kick there from Jamal Fogarty if it sits up. If it sits up, that's a great kick there from Jamal Fogarty. And Dylan Edwards has to come out from the goal line to the 15 on first tackle. So Brad Schneider, did he sign with the Dolphins? Why? They've got their halfback for many years in Isaiah Katoa. Unless they're thinking to put Brad Schneider into the 6, that wouldn't really make like, obviously, sure, depth-wise, but it doesn't really make a great deal of sense otherwise. Kokomooses reckon the Titans get up at Seabass this weekend. Third tackle in with the Panthers. They're going to kick this ball, but KO Weeks was well and truly waiting for that, but it's still going to find grass, and it's still going to be a good kick from Nathan Cleary. So KO Weeks gets his ball out of the 10 to... He gets away here to the left-hand side. KO Weeks has got space. Oh, he should have passed the ball. He had Jed Stewart there. He had the pass, but he didn't do it. So 25 metres out first tackle. Do I think Titans get up this weekend? I'm never going to say yes, but I think that there's obviously a potential with the bogey side. The fact that they beat the Warriors a few weeks ago in New Zealand, and the Warriors have an awful record against the Titans, and the last time they played at Seabass last year was a 66-6 win for the Gold Coast. So I'm never going to say yes, but I'm also not going to say no. But I think you can kind of decipher my answer there from that comment. All right, so out to Hudson Young, and Hudson Young to the 50 now on fit tackle. Like I say, you're disappointed that Titans let go Isaac? Not really, man. Like, I don't want to disrespect him, but at the end of the day, I don't think that he was able to really get anything going for the Titans. So, obviously, Des is trying to cut players from the team at the moment, and the Titans are trying to rebuild for the millionth time in the last 20-odd years. Second tackle over the Panthers at the 30, close wire tackle. So, no, I'm not too ultimately disappointed that the Titans need to go a new direction. They need to go different, and... you know, Isaac wasn't really getting a crack for the team regardless, because he just hasn't... It doesn't look like he's shown the work ethic. But again, I don't want to disrespect him, man, because I'm not here to do that. But I do think it was fine to do. Dylan Edwards now at the halfway point of fit tackle. But I wish nothing but the best for him overseas. Dasmate says, Premiership winner Brad Schneider, in my opinion, should have got the Clive. Penrith aren't hydrated in that grand final if he's not filling those bottles for 80 minutes. Well, that is a correct statement. You know, you've got to be hydrated. Hydration Nation. I'll get a bit of Hydration Nation for us going right now. Get a bit of Hydration Nation. And second tackle now for the Raiders at the 20. Raiders just simply aren't getting meters. And I think the Panthers are 100% completion rate too, aren't they? I don't think they've made an error. Oh, they might have made... No, they made one error. They made one error very early on in the game, which then the Raiders then made their own error from. Joe Tarpon, he finds a bit of a hole. He gets an offload away. And their offload game has been really solid so far. It's just that... Panthers, that should be a penalty. They didn't call it. It should have been a penalty against Lindsay Smith. Now Hudson Young to the 45 on fit tackle. Panthers Titans have been doing good against the Wires in their recent matches. Well, let's go with their last 7 to 8 years worth of matches. And that's a really high kick here from Canberra. That's a tough kick to take. They let it bounce. Jeez, Edwards had no chance catching that in the full. He lets it bounce, and luckily it didn't go too badly for him, and Edwards will get taken down here at the 15 on first tackle. Brent says second half Raiders maybe. Panthers and a few other teams are charging to the top. Well, it's definitely been... Panthers haven't been great in the second halves recently, eh? Like, they lost the second half of the Storm. They obviously beat the Knights well and truly, but they were up 24-0 at half time against the Titans. controversially winning that game 30-26 in extra time. Titans obviously scored 26 unanswered points in the second half. So, hey, potentially, but right now it's still extremely close, and the Panthers, I don't think, need too many more points in this based off of all their possession and whatnot. This is just their real grindy style footy. And they'll really back their defense against the Raiders as well. So Nathan Cleary puts that one up. Most of his kicks have gone to grass. That one won't go to grass, though. Xavier Savage is ready for that one. And let's see some meters here, Canberra. You have not been in any kind of good position for a very long time. Kill Series says, what's up, bro? Who you backing? I think it's a 50-50 game, but I did lean with the underdog, funnily enough, over the Canberra Raiders. Just because I thought... And it's still obviously a good shout, but it's a very difficult game to predict. I just think that the Raiders might be able to get over the top of them, but I don't know. The Panthers have been very good in this first 20. And now Hudson Young looking for an offload. He'll be taken down to the 48 and 4 tackle. These offloads are killing Penrith. Obviously, it's not leading into points so far for the Raiders, but the offloads are killing them. KO Weeks here, great run to the 40 on the Panthers side. That's what you need. That's what you need to see. Raiders nearly lose the ball at the... Oh, here we go. Jamal Fogarty's away here. He runs this ball himself and then kicks it into the corner. Let's see where the bounce lands up here. And it will be Jenkins who grabs it, taken down to the 5. But that is a turning point. That's a great turning point there. It looked like a breakdown at the play the ball from the Raiders. Turned into a Jamal Fogarty masterclass into the corner. And now the Raiders are just going to man up and keep the Panthers within their 30, forcing them to make a big kick and get them back onto the attack. Because they have not been back on the attack since that early knock-on of the first 5-6 minutes. Mitchell says, Canberra may as well rest everyone next week. Either way, they have no chance. Yes, the Tigers, they have a fantastic record against Canberra, Mitchell. The Tigers have a great record. I remember a great game for the Tigers, actually. 2016, they just needed to win that game at Leichhardt on the final game of the season on Sunday. Beautiful day there. And I'm sure the Tigers definitely won that game. It didn't allow the Titans to get into the finals instead. But the Panthers will kick this ball on fit tackle from the 40. So the Raiders defensively were okay. But now we need to see the Raiders come out of their own 20 again. They'll get this ball to the... Oh, that might be maybe a high tackle. Is he saying Xavier Savage is... He's wincing at something. Or maybe it's just a big wind. I think maybe he's just been winded there. It's not a high tackle, but he was really upset about something. Maybe... I hope it's not his ribs, man. Oh, no, I think he might have done his ribs here. No, it's maybe an arm. Jeez, God bless him. Xavier Savage, he clearly was hurting from the end of that tackle. Jeez, that's not a good sign. All right, Raiders here. Corey Horsburgh, 4 tackle, gets inside the attacking half. Laurie says, the Panthers make it to the last 4 in the final. It's going to be hard with back-to-back games to make it 5 rings. Well, they know how to do it. They've done it. They've done it before. They've been here and done it before. They know what it takes to win those games. Another high kick there from Jamal Fogarty, and no pressure here from the Raiders, though, on the kick. And it's a penalty. Penalty to Canberra. Woohoo! That's a huge turning point. That is a huge, huge turning point there. That is a massive turning point. Wowee. Xavier Savage is still down here. So it's obstructing the kick chase there from the Panthers. So the ball goes up. Who's the player that gets in the way? He does adjust his line there to block him off a little bit there as Ipapali'i. It's very slight, but it was really good of the referee to pick that one up. All right, Raiders now. They're going to be 3 metres away here from the line. First tackle. Let's see if Canberra can get it done. Tom Starling, he'll give a short ball to Joe Tarpany, and Tarpany's going to be 2 metres short, second tackle. 2 metres out now. Oh, no, Joe Tarpany's getting up slowly here. Joe Tarpany's getting up. I think he's claiming maybe a high tackle or something. I'm not too sure. Out to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty here, short ball to Zach Hosking. He's looking for an offload like all night, but third tackle at the 5. They've learned to lock up his arms. That's a 6 again for Canberra. Tom Starling, Jamal Fogarty. And Adam Mariotta, he's going to be 5 metres out here, first tackle. Sean says, that is the game I'm looking for, mate. Yeah, Storm Bulldogs will be great after this one. Tom Starling, out to Jamal Fogarty at the 10. He goes short into Hudson Young. Another 6 again here. So the Raiders will be first tackle, 5 metres out. Panthers giving away a few 6 agains. Tom Starling, he'll get to Jamal Fogarty at the 10. Then off to Adam Mariotta. He's running the ball a lot. Like he's had like 4 runs in the last maybe 6, 7 tackles. Now second tackle here for Canberra. Can you break through him? Tom Starling, Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty at the back now to Eden Strange. Then Sebastian Chris. And Sebastian Chris, he's getting close, but he'll get taken back to the 4. That's going to be third tackle. The Great Wall of Penrith defense. At the moment, a little bit of a trick play there from the Raiders. They won't be able to get it, though. That was a little bit of a trick play to play the ball. And they're going to say knock on, are they? They're going to say knock on, I think. Hudson Young, I don't know why he's smiling, mate, if you've knocked this ball on. But I'm pretty certain this is Pretty certain this is a knock on here. Pretty certain they're calling knock on. I don't even know where the ball is. So he must have lost it in the tackle. I couldn't see it. I couldn't see them drop the ball there. Patch says Warriors will want a Raiders win. Warriors need to focus on themselves realistically, but sure, yeah. Yeah, the Warriors definitely would rather a Raiders win. But again, Warriors realistically should just be focusing on their games at the moment and focusing on themselves. Obviously, the fans can think about whatever they want, but the players definitely shouldn't be thinking about anything to do with any other game at the moment. So Penrith now, second tackle at the 25. Raiders have had 2 attacking opportunities and knocked the ball on twice. But it is still 6-0. That under, well, I'm glad that I said to take the under because right now it's very much looking unders. Very much looking unders. Third tackle at the 35, and they go to Isaiah Yeo. And Isaiah Yeo he's lost the ball. He's lost the ball himself, and now Canberra Raiders, Corey Horsburgh, 0 tackle. He's going to be at the 30. Well, Raiders, please don't knock this ball on for a third consecutive attacking opportunity. You've been gifted an absolute game changer there. And Zach Hosking at the 20 on first tackle. Sorensen comes on for Papali'i for the Panthers. Tom Starling, Jamal Fogarty steps inside. He'll be 15 metres out, second tackle, right in front. Alpha Kappa is the Great Wall of Penrith. Well, you want to see it again here. Tom Starling gives it out, and Joe Tarpany, he's up to the centre. He goes out the back, that's fine. Starling now to Corey Horsburgh. For gosh sake, Horsburgh, I don't know what this stepping game is, but the stepping's not stepping no one. Just please run the ball. They're 2 metres out to Tom Starling. Nearly a bad play the ball there. Jamal Fogarty short into to Hudson Young. He's 4 metres out. Out to Tom Starling. Starling then to Fogarty. Fogarty to Corey Horsburgh. Horsburgh here. This is just not good there from Raiders attack. That wasn't good at all. That just wasn't good at all. And after Jamal Fogarty, he's going to dink this one underneath. It's a fine little kick there, actually, and it should be a dropout. No, Edwards gets away here, and he'll bring this ball out of the 10. He'll bring it out of the 15. That's pathetic from the Canberra Raiders. Dead set. You better hope you have a better second half here, Canberra, because your attacking game has been awful. Like, Panthers defensively have been solid, but the attacking game has also just been awful. Like, you've had... he's lost the ball. The Panthers have knocked the ball on again. So, Canberra, please, show a little bit of something here on this attack. You've had 3 attacks, 2 of which have been knock-ons, and then that last set was just really poor. So you've been gifted another opportunity from Panthers. They're giving them to you. They're saying, take a try for the love of all that is mighty, son. Oh, my goodness me, take something. Stop taking it from us and take something here. Chris Martin says, Wires mess up tomorrow. They don't deserve to go anywhere. I'm not even going to argue that. I'm not even going to argue that. The Warriors should not be losing 2 games to the Titans this season. 10 minutes to go, the first half here, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. The Raiders, Ethan Strange, good run. He'll get this ball to the 18. 6-0 to the Panthers, 10 minutes to go. Smash that yellow thumbs up, son. Out to Adam Mariota. He's been very, very much in the play since coming on. Second tackle here at the 10. Second tackle, Tom Starling. He's going to go to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty at the back now to Ko Weeks, and Weeks will be at the 10. Haven't been too impressed with Ko Weeks so far in today's game. Now Tom Starling goes short side. Quickly to Matty Tomoko. Tomoko taken down 4 metres out from the line. 4 tackle. This is very good defence from the Panthers on this set. Starling short ball into the line. Try time, I think it's a try time. It is a try time for Joe Tarpany. And the Canberra Raiders, they finally crack him. And it's 6-4 to the Panthers, but a kick to come to Canberra. Oh, boy. And we're on. And we're on again. They finally do crack him in. And this looks like it might be a tie game coming on up. Looks like a tie game coming on up. TJ Towers, the fact I'm watching the game at Mudgee and watching you, Blaze, come on, boys, get around your TJ Tower. Well, you'd be happy with what just happened then. You'd be happy with the Raiders scoring for you just now, and it should be a tie game. Sounds good to see you, mate. Get around your Sam. Appreciate you for tuning in. Ben says, who would be the player to spark something up for the Raiders in moments like this? Let me think. I'm going to say Joe Tarpany. Oh, Joe Tarpany's just scored. Yep, no worries. Thank me later. Khalifa says, what, bro? Raiders up, down the Panthers? Well, you'd be happy with what just happened just now. We're on, son, Brenton. We are on. Laurie says, Broncos mess up tomorrow. Shouldn't go anywhere. Well, Broncos playing Sunday against the Knights, but also, fact, they should not be losing to that Knights team. So, Joe Tarpany, in his career, 30 tries, season 5 and 3 against the Panthers. Mounty says, Raiders are doing good for a team that's not even in the top 8. That is correct, Mounty. That is a valid call. They aren't in the top 8 right now. They might jump up in the top 8 if they lose here, though, and the Storm do win. Yeah, after a loss, they might actually jump in, which is crazy to think about. Brent 10 says, I gave that thumbs up a good old smashing there, bro. You better... a good old smashing? You should have uppercut the thumbs up button on this stream. You know, we're always advocating the uppercut in the biffos here on this channel. So we're going to advocate for uppercutting the like button too. All right, Jamal Fogarty from right-hand side. He will punch it in. So it is 6-6 with 9 minutes to go at the first half. 6 points to 6. And Brocky Sports with his daily try time, bing bong, mutter, bish. Just watch mates is mad and join the commentary. Appreciate you, brother. Graham says, let's go to Panthers. Dasmate says, Knights 13 plus. If the Knights win that game 13 plus, gee whiz, Broncos fans. You know, gee whiz. Who's that guy who always tells me the Broncos are going to go undefeated for the rest of the season? Mate, he'd cop a ribbon in that game. He'd cop an absolute ribbon. Nintendo says, I know we don't appreciate minor premierships, but it would be nice if the Raiders got it. First team to get it other than the Storm, Roosters, or Panthers since 2012. Wow, I didn't even know that. 2012? Yeah, because that's right. The Storm did win it in 2016 when the Sharks won the premiership. 2015. Did the Roosters win it in 2015? Who won it in 2015? I don't think that was a great year for the Storm, was it? Like, they were still top 8, but like, knock on from the Raiders off on the first set after points. That's not what you want to see. Smithies will knock it on, and the Panthers will get the ball here at the 30. That's poor. Graham says Raiders are gay. Well, thank you, Graham, for that really intellectual piece of commentary. We appreciate that. Dazmate says, who won 2012? You want to talk about that, Daz? You want to talk about who won? Oh, you're talking about minor premiership. You're talking about minor premiership. I don't know. I thought you were talking about the premiership. And I was like, are you sure as a Dogs fan you want to talk about who won the premiership in 2012? So 7:52 to go here of the first half. The Panthers will be gifted, well, to be fair, the Raiders were gifted multiple opportunities to score, and they did. They finally took it after a million years. Well, now the Panthers have got their own, and here they go out to the left-hand side. Casey McLean, try time. That's pathetic defence from Canberra. That is pathetic defence from Canberra. And the Panthers will take a lead 10-6. That is poor. That is poor work there from Canberra. That is poor work. Casey McLean did a great job, don't get me wrong, but that is poor. Straight off the scrum, the Raiders have been done in numbers today, but and this is the worst thing in rugby league, it's the worst thing in the sport, is when you score points, you get a try, you tie the game up, you've worked hard to get it, and then you see pathetic defence like this, well, you see a knock-on straight away. So an error after points is pathetic, but, you know, Matty Timoko, he's got to do better than that. You've got to do better than that. Straight off the scrum, they just spread the ball out left and they just score immediately through Casey McLean. How is your line that poor? How was their line that poor? It was good speed from Casey McLean, but again, there is no world that should have just been as easy as that. There's no world. Wowee. But again, nothing wrong with the Panthers there. The Panthers did exactly what they needed to do, but just Raiders, hello? Like, are you awake here? So you score points, you give up a knock-on, and then you concede off the first grab of the ball. That's a really good 3-game turn of events there, Canberra. So all your hard work to tie the game up, and you've just kind of put yourselves back behind. Axe says Titans are going to cook the Warriors because they are first. Joking, okay? No jokes here on the channel, mate. That's a very serious comment, and I'm going to take it very seriously, and I back you. I back you all the way. It's going to be JC flying, mate. JC fly, but Nathan Cleary from the left-hand wing. Yeah, the Rays do deserve an uppercut for that defence, Brent. They do. 6 minutes to go in the first half. Nathan Cleary. You can't ask for much wider than this. And Nathan Cleary will miss the kick. A trainer didn't run in front, so Panthers fans saying that Nathan Cleary would have hit that conversion. Well, he missed that one. There was no trainer in front, but stays 10-6 with 6 minutes to go of the first half. Wiggy says, watching from Papua New Guinea, go to Panthers. Getting around to Panthers from Papua New Guinea. We appreciate you guys there. Looking forward to you guys coming to the competition in 2028. Eric says, twerking each time Panthers score. Didn't need to know that though, Eric. We didn't actually need to know that you're twerking every time the Panthers score. But thank you for the update. I'm sure some people might have appreciated that. Not sure I do, but appreciate your involvement in the channel, despite the fact that we now know you're twerking for every Panthers try. All right, Panthers now will get this ball to the 15 to Scotty Sorensen. And we first tackle, 6 minutes to go the first half. At least it's an enjoyable game, though. So it isn't a fizzler, which some really good games can turn out to be. So far, it definitely is not a fizzler. Plenty going on. Seb Watson says there's no point being on the wing outside Case McLean. Well, we can complain about him not passing it when he should have passed it, but if he scores the try, you're not complaining about that. Oh, Ethan Strange, you gave yourself up there, mate. You've given yourself up. It's a penalty of the Panthers. Strange gave himself up by looking immediately at the referee to complain before he even blew the whistle. He was probably going to call it anyway, but he gave himself up regardless. So the Panthers will get the ball to the 45 here with the penalty. Trainer was MIA, Ben. He was MIA. Brenton says, why did it look like Savage was holding his arm when they scored? Injury. Is Xavier Savage fine? I haven't even acknowledged this. Is he fine? Because he was seriously injured before. He was seriously injured early on in the game. So if that's the case, if he is on right now that I haven't even acknowledged, then he had a pretty bad injury early on that looks bad. Yeah, he is on the field, so he's going to be hit with an arm injury after this game for sure. You can tell because it was a big hit that landed him early on in the game, and he's obviously still feeling it. Nathan Cleary out to Dylan Edwards. Edwards now to Tungo. They've got space here for Brian To'o, but Strange covers across nicely, and the Panthers are going to be at the 10 on 4 tackle here. 4 tackle. And they'll give it out to Dylan Edwards. Edwards goes himself, and he's going to be 5 metres out now. Fit tackle. Razor, you can't go down by a double score, man. Well, you can, but it won't look necessarily pretty going at half time. Nathan Cleary kicks his ball into the corner for Jenkins. He goes up, and he drops that ball. That is a knock-on. Surrey, sir. Ben says, if Eric was twerking every time Panthers scored in this game, imagine his reaction to Penrith's 4th premierships. Yeah, didn't need to continue on with that conversation about the twerking, Ben. Thank you. Didn't need to even really think about that. Interesting that you wanted to think about a man twerking for 4 straight years of premierships. And don't forget their grand final appearance in 2020. But, yeah, no, really kind of unnecessary there. But thank you. Brenton said they didn't see the injury, but looked like it in the replay of that try. Yeah, so obviously he's still feeling it. 3rd tackle now for Smithies, and he's going to be at the 23. Hello Kimmy says, bro, with you always. I'm supporting Panthers, diehard supporter of the Panthers, supporting all the way from Goroka, Papua New Guinea. Get around you, son. 4th tackle here at the 30. And Tom Starling, now to Corey Horsburgh. Horsburgh at the back to Fogarty. Fogarty here. They've got Spacey K. Weeks. He gets the offload away and Matty Tomoko. Tomoko, he gets the ball back on the inside. It's Zach Hosking. Zach Hosking steps. He's at 25. Fit tackle here for the Raiders. Great run there from the Raiders. And that might be a 6 again. No, he's still saying 5th. Still saying 5th. Matty Tomoko goes short side. He kicks the ball back in. Dylan Edwards drops it. It will be backwards. It will be said that is knocked backwards there from Edwards. But Raiders fire up in regards to your defense now. Keep the Panthers down here. Oh, that's good work there from the Raiders. They drag the Panthers back to the 3. Yeah, they needed that ball go to the left-hand side. Oh, jeez, this is good defense here from the Raiders. They're 5 metres out, 3rd tackle. This is Penrith kind of defense here, and this is what you need to be seeing. Dylan Edwards will be 4th tackle here at the 15. But regardless, with 2.5 minutes to go here of this first half, this is good defense here from the Raiders. The Panthers are going to be forced to kick this from basically their own 20. And Nathan Cleary, he'll kick this ball straight down the centre where Ko Weeks picks it up. Now let's see some metres here. Ko Weeks gets it out to the 40. It'll be first tackle, 2 minutes 20 left. It's a penalty to the Raiders. That's massive. That is massive. After some phenomenal defense from Canberra, keeping the Panthers basically at their own 20, forced the kick away. The KO Weeks brings it out then to about the 40, and they've gotten a penalty from it. So this is a prime time opportunity for the Raiders potentially take the lead in the first half. If they can score and convert, they take the lead. And it's quite wild considering if we look at the stats, I feel like Panthers are probably dominating in most of the statistics. That's a great song they're playing in the stadium right now. Tuila says, coming to Raiders. Yeah, well, here's their chance. 40 metres out just before half-time. Jamal Fogarty off to Adam Mariota. And Adam Mariota is going to be 40 metres out on first tackle. Ty Sis says Toto is better. Thank you. Don't know who you're comparing him to, but thank you for letting us know that Toto is better. Oh, good passing here. Good passing. Jamal Fogarty gets through. He'll be at 23 metres out, second tackle. 23 metres out, second tackle. Tom Starling, he's going to give it to Adam Mariota again. I've loved the impact of Adam Mariota here. I love the impact of Adam Mariota in this game. They go right, KO Weeks, short ball, Zach Hosking. He'll be 3 metres out. Good of him to hold on to that ball, actually. It was difficult. Fourth tackle, big set in this game. They go out to Jamal Fogarty. Jamal Fogarty kicks his ball through. I don't know. This is close. Liam Martin might have put this ball down, or it might be a try to the post of Morgan Smithies. This is going to be close. I would lean maybe with Liam Martin touching this ball first, but it was a mistake by the Panthers. Regardless, there will be a dropout here, regardless. But this is going to be close between Liam Martin and Morgan Smithies. Yeah, Nathan Cleary just doesn't get the ball, and then it's Smithies and Liam Martin. Surely Martin gets that from there. Yeah, he will. Yeah, so this is going to be a dropout here from the Panthers. Close, though. Very, very close. Very close. Tyson says Titans are us. Yeah, thank you for letting us know that. We are very well aware. We watch every single game, and there's nobody more aware than me. Yeah, no, that's correct. But thank you for your input. Is that actually simultaneous? I would actually have argued that's simultaneous, which actually could have led towards the Raiders, but they've gone with a no try here. They've gone with a Liam Martin putting the ball down there, but commentary also mentioned it just then. If it's simultaneous, it actually goes in the advantage of the attacker, but anyway, so it's Raiders get the ball hit the 50, but that's pretty controversial. It might have been simultaneous from that angle, and if it was simultaneous, that actually should have been a Raiders try. Here we go. This will show it again. This will show us again. Oh, jeez, it looks pretty simultaneous from that angle. Anyway, second tackle now for the Raiders. They're at the 30. They give out the back into Ethan Strange. Ethan Strange, good run to the 15. Third tackle, 36 seconds left of the first half. They roll it back to Tom Starling. Starling off to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty's got KO Weeks. KO Weeks off to Matty Tomoko. Tomoko runs it straight. Offloads it, KO Weeks. KO Weeks gets it out here, and it's a knock-on for the Raiders. It's a knock-on for the Raiders. Xavier, I disagree with them passing that ball out to Xavier Savage. I actually disagree. Xavier Savage is still on the field. You can clearly see that his shoulder is hurt here. You can actually clearly see that his shoulder is hurt. That was a bit too hard of a pass there from K-Weeks anyway. But again, you do have to mention the fact that a simultaneous grounding is actually... It does actually go... That was a bad pass, but either way, Xavier Savage is hurt. A simultaneous put-down should have been a try Raiders. A simultaneous put-down should have been actually a Raiders try, but... I guess what is this sport without controversy? They didn't even look at that, to be completely honest with you. They just said Liam Martin put it down and moved on. But all right, well, half time here, 10-6. It's a good game. It's what we were expecting. It is a good game. It's a low-scoring game here, and yeah, really interesting how this one finishes up. Long way to go here. Let's get into the team stats here at half time. Keep commenting in the chat. Let us know your thoughts. Obviously, hit that like button, guys. Subscribe if you're new around here. 10-6. To the Panthers in a belter that we expected. Now, both tries the Panthers have been Casey McLean, with the one try for the Raiders being Joseph Tarpany. Now, we go to the possession. It is 51% to the Raiders, 49% here to the Panthers, and the time possession is 14 minutes 55 for the Raiders and 14 minutes 20 there for the Panthers. So that's a good amount of time possession. That's 28. That's basically 29 minutes worth of time in play, so not too much really kind of hampering down in regards to the penalties here today. We have seen 5 penalties, but the ball is being played quite well. Completion rate, you want to be at least hitting 80%. That is the minimum. The Panthers are at 86% with 20 from 23, so a good amount of completed sets. They made a few mistakes, which actually ultimately ended up as the Raiders' try. But the Raiders, they're at 80% for 17 from 21, which also, one of those ended up being a Panthers try. So both teams have kind of just been a little bit loosey-goosey in regards to their defense after an error, but overall, the fact of the matter is that both teams are hitting their completion rate of a minimum of 80%. Runs-wise, it's pretty similar. 91 runs here for the Panthers, 895 run meters for them, with the Raiders being at 90 runs for 812 meters. So basically, they're both not hitting the 10 meters on average per run, but the Panthers are very, very close to it. The Raiders are a little bit behind it, so they are down by 75 run meters on the Panthers. With now it's the same 895 to 820, both with 91 runs. So the Panthers are very clearly in the lead here. Now it's 92 runs for 835, and they're still down by 60. So the Panthers are very clearly in the lead of the run meters. We've been saying that throughout the first half. The Raiders have been struggling for meters. It's not like a world apart, but it's still a decent amount apart, especially considering now the Raiders have more runs than the Panthers do, and they're still behind. Now it's 93 for 844. They're still behind by about 50. Now, post-contact meters, though, that's an advantage of the Raiders at 311 for the Panthers at 280. So despite the fact they're down on the overall run meters, the post-contact is very solid for Canberra. They are in the lead there. Line breaks is 2-2, very even. Tackle breaks is 21-20 Raiders. So a lot of missed tackles in this game from both these teams. So despite the fact that the defense is quite solid, at the end of the day, both are still getting some really solid tackle breaks there, with 21 times the Panthers have missed tackles and 20 times the Rays have missed tackles. Now, average set distance, anything under 25 metres, you turn the stream off, it's pathetic. 25 to 30 is disgusting. 30 to 35 is underwhelming. 35 to 40 is average hitting the marker. 40 to 45 is great. 45 to 50 is fantastic. And 50 plus is perfect. Incredible first half. The Raiders are at 38.92. So the upper end of hitting the marker, the Panthers are at 38.92. They're hitting the marker on an average set distance at the upper end of that. They're not quite at 40 just yet, but they're still getting a solid enough amount of meters there that you're not really complaining with, whilst the Raiders are at 40.23. So they are just on the brink in the great category. They're both only separated by about 1.3 meters, right? So very similar, but if you're hitting that 40 category, that is a very good sign. It's a great sign. So the Raiders actually on an average set are beating out the Panthers, which is funny considering the meters are completely off there. Now you look at the average play the ball speed. Now, anything under 3.39 is very fast. 3.4 to 3.59 is average, and then 3.6 and above is slow. 3.6 on the dot is the Panthers, and 3.78 for the Raiders. So both these teams playing at a slow to play the ball speed, but the Raiders are actually getting close to an extremely slow speed there. So it's not fast play here today. Not really fast play the balls by any means from either team. Now, this is an obvious stat. Offloads, Raiders with 8, Panthers with 1. We've seen guys like Zach Hosking, Corey Horsburgh and whatnot get and Hudson Young getting a bunch of offloads today. That's why they're significantly in the advantage there. Then you got the forced dropouts of 1 apiece. Kick defusal is 75% for the Panthers, 17% for the Raiders. And then we go to the defensive effective tackle percentage. And I want to really make sure that people understand that the Panthers are going to have an awful stat here, but this is on an individual effective tackle percentage level, tackling wise. Their defense has actually been really solid here today, but this is a pathetic number on an effective tackle percentage. So don't think that just because I'm about to tell you a very big negative that overall the Panthers have been bad defensively. It just means they're missing a lot of tackles and they've got a lot of ineffective, right? So anything under 85% is disgusting. 85 to 88% is underwhelming. 88% to 90% is where you want to be, and 90 plus is incredible. So the Panthers are at 83.33%, which is actually really poor. That is really poor stuff. It's not even within a percent of the 85% marker. Now, 195 tackles made for a whopping 24 missed tackles and 15 ineffective. Now, the average amount of missed tackles in the first half or in a half for teams is between 15 and 17. So they are 7 more tackles. Seven more tackles worse than the highest of the average of 17 at 24. So that's not good. That's really not good there for the Panthers. They are allowing the Raiders to get some space through missed tackles. And the ineffective is usually around the 7 to 9 for an average, maybe even an 8 to 9 average. The Panthers have given away 15 ineffective tackles. So that's another 6 on the higher end of the average. So basically that's saying that tackling-wise, this team's actually not performing too well here today. That's a whopping 39 bad tackles in the first half. That's a whopping 39 bad tackles in the first half. Now, the Raiders, you could argue the reason why they're not scoring despite this number is because they've been knocking the ball on. When they've been in range, they've knocked the ball on a couple of times and made some big-time mistakes, and that's why they're not able to hone in on it, because that defense there, if the Raiders can really arc up attacking-wise in the second half, they should be able to actually put a couple of tries past this Panthers team, and actually probably should win if this stays the same. If the Panthers stay at 83.33% or under 85%, you'd probably expect the Raiders to win this game. So for me, the Panthers just need to bring themselves up to at least 85, 86%, and then they probably win the game, because it means their second half defense is much better. And ultimately, despite the fact they've only conceded 6 points, I do kind of put a lot of blame onto the Raiders there for their mistakes. But also the Panthers defense is just overall being good as a collective rather than an individual basis. Now, the Raiders, on the other hand, they're at 90.43%. So 189 tackles made for 19 missed tackles and just the 1 ineffective. So 90% is very, very good. 19 missed tackles is still 2 missed tackles above the average of 15 to 17, the higher end of the average. So it's still a bad amount of missed tackles, but the ineffective is really bringing that in there. The average of 7 to 9, 8 to 9, they're only at 1 ineffective tackle. So that's why their effective tackle percentage is so good. However, the missed tackles is still quite similar of 24 to 19. It's just the ineffective that's 15 to 1, which is really outnumbering the Panthers there in regards to a negative stat. Then you go to the negative play. Errors-wise, Raiders 5. It's killing them. 4 errors for the Panthers, which did kill them. A lot of those errors, I think there was 3 errors that kind of forced the Raiders to score, actually. 3 straight sets, I think the Panthers were making mistakes, which is what the Raiders scored. But then the Raiders made a mistake off of the next set from the kickoff, and the Panthers scored immediately, literally immediately on the first tackle. So errors is what's really crunching both these teams here today. Otherwise, it would have been 6-0 Panthers. And also, the first try for the Panthers was awful. It was absolutely awful. But it still just ricocheted and bounced around everywhere, and Casey McLean was able to come up with the ball. But at the end of the day, this game is a really tight game. It is really, really tight in a lot of aspects, and it's just if both teams could limit those errors, whoever limits their errors most of the second half probably wins this game, because it is only a 4-point game, and 2 tries have come off the back of errors for either team. Penalties conceded 3-2 against the Raiders. Nothing too crazy there. Ruck infringements is 2-2, and then inside 10 metres is 1-0 in favour of the Panthers there. So, look, overall, you look at these stats. Defensively, Panthers, yeah, they've missed a whole bucket load of tackles and a lot of ineffective, whilst the Raiders have been doing quite solid in that category. You go through offloads, yeah, they're killing it. Both teams playing the ball speed quite slow. Average set distance is quite similar, with the Raiders just edging out in regards to plus 40. And then you go to the post-contact meters. Raiders are winning that, but the Panthers are clearly winning in regards to the actual run meters of the game, and both teams are completing at a pretty good rate. So this is set up for a very good second half. The only thing that I guess, before I get into the chat, that I'll mention is that the Panthers in second halves recently have not exactly been spectacular. And Raiders are a pretty good second half team, to be fair. So last week against the Storm, the Panthers were 4-8, 10, 12. They were at 12 points to 4. It was 12-4 at halftime to the Panthers. They lost that game 22-18. And then we go to the week beforehand. Was against the Knights. Forget that game. The week before that was against the Titans, where the Panthers won 30-26. They were up 24-0 at halftime. Titans then in the second half scored 26 unanswered points. This is the team in last, mind you. Scored 26 unanswered points, and then obviously the Panthers still found a way to win that game in extra time. But the Panthers only scored 2 points in the second half. So it was 26-2 Titans way second half. Again, they did well against the Tigers there, and 136-2. Actually, the second half was better for the Panthers in that game. But overall, there's been a couple of games recently that kind of make you a little bit nervous for the Panthers in this second half. But overall, like we all know what the Panthers can do. We know what they can do when the pressure gets cooking up. When it's starting to cook, the pressure comes on. The Panthers know what to do. So I don't know. I feel like I'm still going to lean with the Raiders here, but they have also been disappointing in a lot of ways in regards to those crucial areas and the crucial moments. So that's probably what I'd say in the first. That's probably what I would say across that first half. But, interesting second half to come up here. I'm just going to chuck this on charge here while we're at halftime. Chuck my light on charge, because I know it's not too meaningful right this very second. But as the night comes here in Vietnam, it will be crucial. Bretton says 15 ineffective tackles, 24 missed Penrith. Yeah, that's huge. It is massive. Chris Martin said that half flew by. Well, it's going to fly by all tonight, because it's going to be such a good couple of games that we're going to have a good time. And, obviously time goes fast when you're having fun. That was a good fun half. Ben says, what do you think is the most likely outcome of this match, and by how much? Hey, Ben, did you listen to my halftime stats and then what I said that I thought would happen at the end of it? Did you happen to catch that part? Did you happen to catch that probably 5 to 10 minute span of me talking about everything, or did we kind of skip that one, Ben? Did we skip that one? Micah says, "Come on, Raiders, go hard in the second half. Got this. Let's go." Yeah, well, against the Knights the other week, the Raiders were down 18-12 at halftime before winning that game. I think 44-18 or 44-22, maybe. I don't even know if the Knights scored in the second half. Actually, I will quickly go have a look here. Here. Move that little bad boy. So, yeah, it was 44-18. I'm pretty certain it was 18-12 at half time. Yeah, Kaipi's Paul, Greg Martin, and Fletcher Hunt, 4-8-12. Yeah, it was. It was 18, 4, 8, 10, 4, 8, 12, 10, 12. Yeah. Oh no, it was 18-14. It was 18-14 to the Knights at halftime, and the Raiders came back and won 44-18. So there is a lot of stats here that actually are leaning towards potentially a Canberra Raiders comeback, but you never know. This is a battle between two teams. This is probably there's no more desperate situation. The Panthers are desperate to win to stay in the top 4, or to get into the top 4 and jump back above the Sharks, and also just hope the Titans beat the Warriors tomorrow. Whilst the Raiders, if they lose this game, the Storm win against the Dogs tonight, then the Raiders will drop in a second. So this is very important for both these teams. Not just on getting a good read about a big-time opponent going to the finals, but in regards to where you're going to be situated. Rapetti says Panthers to open up in the second half. It's not normally what they do, though, mate. It's not normally what they do, but we'll see. We'll see. Stats are super close. Jacob says, if I could get you and the game synchronised, I would turn the TV down and listen to you, mate. Heaps better commentary than anyone in the NRL at the moment. Appreciate you, Jacob. Well, I can give you the time because I know it depends on what you're watching. Like if you're watching it on live on Fox, sometimes people are behind, sometimes people are in front. A lot of the time, it's funny how I'm in Vietnam and a lot of the time I'm actually in front of people. Like for example, Dasmate. Dasmate's watching it next year. Like Dasmate is so far behind that he's still watching games from the 2014 season at this point. But yeah, I can run you through the time if you want to try and put it in sync. The only thing that I hate about that, and it's going against me here, but the only thing I hate about that is what I've tried to do with when I watch like football watch-alongs in the Premier League, is the fact that you can't hear like the atmosphere. The atmosphere is huge to me. That's why I still listen to the I like to listen to the commentary anyway, just so I can have a good idea about kind of what they're talking about too. But I hate the lacking of atmosphere. We saw that in 2020 and 2021 when the crowds weren't able to come to the games. And it's just so annoying to me not being able to hear like the celebration of when there's a try scored and all that kind of stuff from the crowd. Breton says Raiders only one more error than Penrith. Yep, but obviously 4 and under is what you want to be achieving. 5 and above is getting 5 to 7 is 5-6 is average, and 7 above is really bad. So the Raiders are in the average category of 5, whilst the Panthers are in the good category of 4 and below. I know it's still only 1, but there is still categories for a reason. Reeves says, I need 39 points. I don't know why you got on the over here today, to be fair. I'm not too sure. I get both teams can attack, but like it's the 3rd and 4th best defensive teams in the competition here. But there's still a chance. It is, there's been 16 points scored so far. You still need 24 points. I just don't know if it's got enough tries in it, but sometimes you could see teams blow away from here. Sometimes you can see the second half really take a massive turn, and we're underway here with the second half here, guys. The Panthers kicking off to the Raiders, and they're going to come out of their own in-goal through Ata Mariota. Been super impressed by him today. Hit that like button, subscribe if you're new around here. We've got a game and a half to go. Still this one, and then Storm versus the Bulldoggy Dog. Woof, woof. Big yikes. That's a huge game, that. So Corey Horsburgh to the 20 in second tackle. Micah says, go Raiders, hands up and pass. Let's go. Well, they're going to get this ball to the 30 now through Hudson Young, third tackle. I'd really like to see the Raiders keep this offload game up, though, because I think that's what really got them most of their meters in the first half. Back to Tom Starling, then off to Morgan Smithies, and Smithies to the 40 on fourth tackle. Tasman said, excuse me, you're excused. Don't know what you're excusing, but you're excused. Get Dust Choke says hello. Get around, you get Dust. So fifth tackle now at the halfway point. So good set there from Canberra, 50 metres, and Jamal Fogarty will whack that ball up into the air. His kicking game today I've actually really liked. Thomas Jenkins will grab this ball at the 20. Manly fans are very much looking forward to a fresh start next season without Cherry Evans, who I believe has really made this season all about himself. Really disappointing overall. Like, I could understand at the beginning why he was hesitant to kind of say what he's doing and where he's going and whatnot, but I think it's really gotten to the point now where it's just stupid that he said, oh, I want to get to 350 games before I mention anything. Like, come on, man. Like, you've derailed a lot of Manly's season in regards to your decision to hold out, but you do you, man. So Xavier Savage is ruled out for the rest of the game, so we're right, Brenton. It was time for him to come off, and he does come off. KO Weeks here. That's a great kick from the Panthers that finds space and actually will get them in the in goal. That's a great kick from the Panthers. That is a great kick from the Panthers. Tim S says, who do you think will win, Rays or Riff? I think I'm still, I went with the Rays pre-game. I'm going to stick with them, but this is a good start for Penrith in the second half. Eric says, Panthers easy win. We'll see, man. Long way to go here. Long way to go. KJH Sports says, which game out of the two tonight were you most looking forward to? Probably the next game, because we haven't seen the Storm and Bulldogs so far this season, and it's a real solid test for the Bulldogs, especially after a loss to the Roosters. They can't go in losing. They've still got a couple of fraudulent thought processes about them against the big teams this season. Bulldogs are given a kind of similar vibe to what Sharks have been in recent years, so they need to go and win tonight to kind of take those worries away a lot more. But third tackle for the Panthers, 10 metres out, Nathan Cleary, he'll get it underneath, and Liam Henry, he's 8 metres out, fourth tackle, right in front. Mitch Kenny now, he'll go to Isaiah Yeo, then to Nathan Cleary, short ball into Luke Garner, and Garner's going to be 3 metres out, fifth tackle. Big defensive set here, Rays. He can't give up on the first defensive set of the game. Nathan Cleary, the second half, sorry. Nathan Cleary up, and Liam Martin! Oh, He scored. He has scored. That's pathetic. That's pathetic from the Raiders. Great work there from Liam Martin. Good kick from the Panthers. But Raiders, you've got to hang your heads in shame. You can't come into the second half like this. You cannot come into the second half like this. Firstly, your fullback is nowhere to be seen. It takes him a million years to get to the ball, and which has ended up in a dropout. And then you've allowed an easy try here for the Panthers. Right? Well, not an easy try. I shouldn't say that. But Liam Martin will score right underneath the post here. And that's concerning for Canberra. That is concerning, especially with the fact that they actually held him up too. They had him held up, but Liam Martin's so strong he was able to reach up again and put the ball down. Because they've got him held up there, and they've got him held up again, and then he obviously puts that ball down. So yeah, 14-6 here with the kick to come, and Raiders, that's concerning. That's a big moment. That is a big moment. Ben says the Galvin effect Bulldogs. Dasmo says double movement. I don't think we're going to be seeing any form of double movement here, unfortunately, Daz. But yeah, that's really strong there because he doesn't get it down there, but he gets it down the third attempt. Try time, bing bong, mudda bish, Broggy. Try time, bing bong, mudda bish. Highlanders is 6th place. Here we go. Sure, but if you lose to the Titans tomorrow, you should actually be disappointed that you're even in the 8 because you're not going to be doing anything in the finals. You should be putting a score past the Titans. I know you lost to them 4 weeks ago, but again, the Warriors. I just don't understand. Like, I don't get it. Like, Warriors really. There's a lot of conversation about what other teams are doing. There's a significant amount of conversation about what other teams are doing around the Warriors. If I'm a Warriors fan, who gives a fuck what other teams are doing? Like, the team has looked so vulnerable and struggling for a good 2 months now, and it's like I just want to see. As if I was a Warriors fan, I just want to see my team get their shit together. Honestly, it's not about making top 4. It's about it's about top 8, and it's about just kind of getting some form of momentum yourselves. Like, at the end of the day, if that team finishes above us, it's only because of our fault. But that's the past. We have to be thinking about getting ourselves into the right position for the finals. Because the Warriors, right this very second, if you make the top 4, you're getting bounced out in straight sets. And if you're just into the top 8, you'll be lucky to make the second week of the finals because there's so much work to do. So that's why I keep saying, who cares about what other teams are doing if you're a Warriors fan? You just need to see your team get back into it. Because right this very second, you make the second chance finals, you're still getting bounced out in the second week. And tell me that I've got the wrong thought process there. So second tackle here for the Panthers, and they're going to get this ball out now to the 30. It's third tackle now. 16-6. They obviously did get the kick from right in front. New Zealand guys that are fighting hard, Warriors. Need to fight a bit harder at the moment. Nikhil says, you spoke about the potential of this last weekend. What do you mean? Fifth tackle now at the 45. What did I speak about last weekend? Yeah, Warriors definitely can't rely on their for and against. Yeah, they definitely can't. I said that for a very long time, and I got a little bit of, I copped a little bit of heat from a few Warriors fans at one point of the season when I kept saying, you got to be concerned about that for and against. Now they're understanding. And I like the ones. It's not me shit-talking them. It's just me, saying kind of how we see it at the moment. Second tackle at the 20. Sen says, what's the weather and service like? It looks beautiful. Looks fine. Matty Tomoko gets his ball to the third tackle to the 30. Chris Martin says they're light years behind Canberra, Melbourne, Penrith and the Dogs. Yeah, they are, especially considering the Panthers, when they beat them 28-8 over there in New Zealand, the Panthers had all their Origin players out, and the Warriors obviously had nobody out because they don't have any Origin players. Oh, I think they only had Kurt Catewell out. I think that was it, because he was playing Origin. Fifth tackle here for the Raiders at the 40, and Tom Starling, he'll go right-hand side. And now the Raiders with a good, solid kick. It goes out of the 10. Obviously, Brian Tott was waiting for it right there, but a really good kick. And now Panthers just don't make a mistake on the set. Getdar says, what state you in? I'm from the Gold Coast, mate, but I'm in Vietnam right now. And now Isaac Tungo gets his ball to the 15. Hans says, no, if you make top 4, we'll get smoked by your team. Exactly. So why do you care about making top 4? Just care about getting your momentum sorted and getting your team right for the finals. Who cares about top 4? It's just about being in the 8 and getting some good wins to get some momentum to put yourselves back onto the right track. Who cares about top 4? And Kill says, I'm referring to this game and the fact that Penrith are building momentum. They still lost the Storm last week, but that's going to be kicked out about to the 10. So good kick there from Cleary, and the Rays will get the ball to 10 after it was kicked over the sideline. The Panthers just need for me to win 2 out of these 3 games. They lost last week, and now they need to win both this game and the Bulldogs game next week, and then that's genuine contender. But that was obviously still a worry they lost last week. I don't know if I would. I don't think I would have said Penrith have built momentum or are building momentum last week against the Storm. But if they win these next 2 games, then they will be. But they have to win this game and the Bulldogs game for that. And that's a mistake there from the Raiders. Don't know if the Raiders are up for this. I don't know if the Raiders are up for this. There's too many errors from them today. 5 errors in the first half. Already a couple of errors here in the second half. I don't know if they're up for this one overall. I don't know. These old guys, the Panthers coming right. They are. But again, like you're kind of looking at just this game. Last week still happened where they lost to a Storm team with a whole bunch of outs and players out of position. But like they're much better than they were at the middle part or the beginning part of the season for sure. Dylan Edwards right hand side. That's a knock on there from the Panthers. That's a knock on there from the Panthers. They go over the sideline. I don't think they called the knock on. They said it backwards, but Brian To'o goes to the sideline. I think it's very easy to say right this very second. Panthers are getting it right, but they still need to win this game next week. Storm are good though, sure, but the fact of the matter is that's the team they're going to have to beat. But also, secondly, they had no Pappenhausen, they had no Jerome Hughes, they had no Will Warbrick, they had no Nelson Asafa-Solomona. They moved Meany to the centre. They had Munster not in his 5'8" in the fullback position. They had players out galore, and they were still able to win it. So that was a worry, especially when it wasn't even in Melbourne. It was at Combank. Simi Sasangi, not the fastest player, not the fastest player. Not the fastest player, but the Raiders now will be first tackle at the 20. 30 minutes to go here of this big game at the top of the table. Hit that like button and subscribe. Zach Hosking, crunched at the 25. That's huge. Some guys to their backup. No, I think no. I'm sorry, but the Panthers should have won that game last week. They had a full strength team. They should have won that game last week. Penalty here to the Raiders. Penalty to the Raiders. They should have won that game last week. There's no excuses for them. There's no excuses. I know the Melbourne Storm has a name, sure, but there's no excuses to lose to the Storm team that they put out last week. Yeah, sure, they were able to get the job done. That was great for Melbourne. It was awesome for Melbourne, but they shouldn't be losing that game, Penrith. Because I said I'd tip the Storm if they had a full-strength team. They didn't have a full-strength team, and the Panthers did. So first tackle now for the Raiders, and it'll be at the 35. I see right through that, Jay, by the way. I know you know what I'm talking about. Second tackle here at the 30. Second tackle now, they're 25 metres out here from the line. And Tom Starling goes to Hudson Young. And Hudson Young will be at the 20 on third tackle. Tom Starling, he'll go to Corey Horsburgh. Horsburgh to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty, short ball, good run from Hosking, but good defence from the Panthers. Fourth tackle now, 13 metres out. Starling gives it off to Jamal Fogarty, kicks his ball through. Probably played out there from the Panthers. 6 again for the Canberra. 6 again for Canberra. All right, Raiders, here's your chance. Tom Starling steps away from a couple. He's still going here, and he'll be taken down 7 metres out from the line. Dylan Edwards getting a bit of WWE action there, a bit of UFC. And now the Raiders will get this ball to the 3. Hitsugar says, full strength team missing one of their captains. Who are you talking about? Are you... this game? What? This game? So third tackle now for the Raiders at the 5. Which captain's missing in this game? Jamal Fogarty. Oh, that's a bad pass from Jamal Fogarty, man. Again, it doesn't look like they want it. The Panthers look like they want this one more. The Raiders making way too many errors here today. That's like 7 or 8 errors already in this game. With 29 minutes to go to the game. Last week, Yo wasn't there. Okay, sure. Oh, jeez. Tango nearly... Yeah. Okay. Again, Isaiah Yo, okay, yeah, sure. That's a loss. Even though someone here has told Isaiah Yo to get off the field as a Panthers fan tonight. But that is right. So, no, not full straight team, but there's no comparison between the amount of Storm outs and the amount of changes in the Storm team to one player with the Panthers being out. But sure, I will grant you that point because it is a big player in Isaiah Yo. But there's no argument to say that the outs of the Panthers were even relatively equivalent to the amount of outs there for the Storm. Especially when it's such a significant point in the halfback position and also the fullback position there for the Melbourne Storm. And the fullback, and also their 5'8", because the 5'8" had to go into the fullback. And I know he's played there before, but you understand what I'm saying anyway. So, well, I hope you do anyway. So first tackle now for the Raiders at the 5, and it'll be Ko Weeks who will bring it out here to the 20 on first tackle. Scott James says, can't wait for next game. Going to cheer the Storm on. P.S. It would be unfair if the Titans won the comp every year. Have to let other teams win it for once. Yeah, we might consider it, mate. We'll see how we feel on grand final day. We'll see how we feel. But it really just depends on if we're feeling gracious or not. You know, you've got to really bow down to the Titans overlords right now. Jay Lewis, has Panthers defense been fantastic today? Agreed. Raiders had plenty of ball in the 20 metres, but only scored one try. Panthers looking hot at the moment. Agreed. Nearly a knock-on again from the Raiders. But defensive effective tackle percentage in the first half was 83%, which is really poor. But as a collective, the Panthers have been doing what they do best in defending. All right, so it'll be Jamal Fogarty. He'll kick that ball up. Really hard kick. Good chase through, but Brian Toll gets it. The Raiders just simply have not been even really attempting for the high ball here today. And it's a penalty to the Panthers. I don't think they want it. I genuinely don't think the Raiders want this game. I don't think they want to win this game. There's nowhere near enough enthusiasm in this Canberra Raiders team. They're not. The kicking game from Jamal Fogarty has been super high. Has given them plenty of time to get up in the line. There's been multiple times here today that I've noticed that the Raiders aren't going up for the ball. They aren't trying to make the play. The meters aren't there for Canberra. The Panthers have had the more running meters for the first half and definitely in the second half as well. They've been knocking the ball on a really significant amount of times. This is a pretty concerning performance here from Canberra as they've kept up their first half performance into the second half errors-wise specifically. New Zealand guys, she's still a long way to the final. Absolutely. You know, absolutely. No one's going to win or lose the grand final here today in either of the two games. But it will give you a good inkling about how teams are faring up. So third tackle here at the 35. Mitch Kenny off to Nathan Cleary. Cleary then to Luke Garner. And Garner's going to be 25 metres out, fourth tackle. Chad Lewis says, Raiders' intensity isn't there at all. They look sluggish and not playing quick enough ball for me. Yeah, agree. Blaze Talungi taking down to the 10, fifth tackle. Still plenty of time. Still plenty of time. It's only a 10-point game, but if the Panthers score here, then I don't know. And that's going to be... I think there's going to be a knock-on there. He's going to be... they're going to call something here. I don't think Liam Martin scored this. Yeah, I think they're going to call knock-on here from Isaac Tungo. They're going to go to the bunker here, but I'm pretty certain they're going to call knock-on. Anyway, Fred says Panthers will still dominate the second half and have the win. And maybe, well, if they score this, then sure, but I'm pretty certain Tungo knocks this ball on. And, yeah, that's a knock-on. Yeah, it's a knock-on. It hits the back of his hand and goes into, I think it's Simi Sasangi. Yeah. Left hand and then goes forward into the Raiders player whose hand is in front. So this should be a knock-on here from Isaac Tungo. And that's in the end goal, so the Raiders will get this ball here at the 20. Easy decision there for the bunker. Well, you got away with one there, Canberra. You've got away with one there. Got away with one there. Ben Frigga says, hit Sugar, yeah, it's only one player. I understand. I know that what Hit Sugar is trying to say, it's a tiny bit of cope, but it's still a big player. Like, it is still a big player. But I would say Penrith are pretty much full strength. Like, that shouldn't be the definition of a win and a loss there against the amount of players the Storm had out. So first tackle now for the Rays. And it was good to see a lot of Panthers fans actually admitting this on socials as well. That was a great run from Morgan Smith. He's post-contact at the 50. A lot of Panthers fans, in between the complaining about the correct call being made with Harry Grant, they were actually saying, like, they should have done better. But either way, it's just one game, and this has been a good game for them so far against a team in first position who has beaten the Storm this year, the Raiders. So Joe Tarpany, it'll be fourth tackle at 30. All I want to see is them complete this set here, the Raiders. Because every time they're in any kind of range, they make a mistake. Papali'i, Jamal Fogarty, and they'll be 23 metres out, fifth tackle. Fifth tackle, Starling off to Jamal Fogarty, and Fogarty up into the corner. Where's the chase? Sebastian Chris coming through, and Panthers will get taken down to the 5. At least Sebastian Chris chased that. At least he chased that. And now second tackle here for the Panthers at the 10. Get some defense going here. Hold them down here. Panthers have had it all their way in the second half. Third tackle at the 15. I think overall, besides the controversy of potentially the simultaneous grounding of the Raiders' try, the refereeing has been pretty top-notch here today. I haven't got too many complaints. So fourth tackle now at the 23, and Isaiah Papali'i gets the ball to the third 25. Fifth tackle. So not the greatest of sets there. Not the greatest of sets. And now go to Nathan Cleary, who'll kick this ball down to about the 30. Probably one of his weaker kicks of the night. He's had a really good kicking night tonight, Cleary, as we all expect. But Liam Martin gets a good hit on Jed Stewart. And Liam Martin looks like he's out here. No, he might be all right. He might be okay. He was very slow to get up, though. A bit of a grind at the moment. And KO Weeks goes back into the, not the play, third tackle at the 45. Owen Paddy, Jamal Fogarty. But it only takes one try for Canberra to bring them right back into it. And it's not like it's two complete scores to tie. It's just one converted try and an unconverted try to tie it up. And now the Raiders, Simi Sasungi, he'll be at the 25 on fifth tackle. Marcus, come on, Raiders, let's go. You can do this. Long way to go. And now Jamal Fogarty puts that one up. They'll be about 5 metres away. Owen Paddy at least chases it through. Knock on from the Panthers. And here comes a fresh set for the Raiders. 20 metres out. KO Weeks. KO Weeks. He gives it up to Tomoko. Tomoko steps. Tomoko steps. He's 10 metres away here. And he will knock it the offload away. 9 metres out. A 0 tackle. 0 tackle. Owen Paddy. Jamal Fogarty. 6 again now for the Raiders. This is your chance here, Canberra, to make a game of it. 3 metres away. First tackle. First tackle, Owen Paddy, Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty at the back into Ethan Strange. Ethan Strange gives it off here, and here's a chance for Canberra! Try time for the Raiders. The milk go over in the left-hand corner, and it's 16-10 with a kick to come. And the tries today, for both teams, maybe not the third Penrith try, but the tries today are coming off the errors of the opposite team. The Panthers make a mistake with Dylan Edwards. Ball bounces straight to the Raiders. They get a fresh set, and this time the Raiders are able to get the job done. Actually, probably shouldn't even be 0 tackle. It should have been just first tackle on the basis that Edwards didn't knock it on. It just hit his knees. But either way, the Raiders were able to score on the left-hand side. And Brett Neslick's favourite player, Simi Sasungi, scores a try time. They had to be next to score. They had to be, and they've done it. So they'll be within 6 and a kick to come to try and bring it within 4. Yeah, Brett Neslick said, Simi always said he was a gun. You have always said this. You weren't saying about 5-10 minutes ago that he was slow as a snail. You have always said that he was a gun for sure. Francis says, yes, go the Pars. Interesting that you're saying yes when the Raiders have just scored, but sure. And Nikhil says, was a crazy high kick from Fogarty too. Good work. His kicking game today, like putting the boot into the air, has been brilliant. Really high kicks have been really tough. Have been really tough for the Panthers to grab. A lot of the time you've seen the Panthers are actually letting it bounce. And Cleary's kicking game today, besides maybe the weaker of the kicks, which landed at the 30 just then, has been very good as well. Braden says, go the Raiders. You'd be happy with this. All right. I don't know if you'd be super happy with the game, but you'd be happy that you're still well and truly in the game. It's kind of a quirky one to work out in a lot of ways in how to explain. Because the Raiders haven't been bad, but they haven't been great, but they've still been good enough to be still completely in the game, and they're going to be within 4, 16-12, with 21 minutes to go of the game. 16-12, 4-point game. And this was the belters that we were asking for. We wanted belters, and we're going to get one here to start off with. 6 points will take the lead for the Raiders. 4 points will tie it up. Still got plenty of time here. Braden says, I'm a Rabbit supporter, but fair enough. You had a great win yesterday, 40-0 over the Dragons. You're not complaining with all your injuries. You're definitely not complaining. Obviously, he doesn't know where he is. I don't think anyone here knows where we are, to be fair, but we're just giving it a crack. All right, now, Raiders, the first time you scored a try, you knocked the ball on the second tackle, and the Panthers scored immediately. So let's try and not do that this time, Canberra. That'd be a nice start. I mean, might be a potentially decent little start there for the Raiders if they were to, not make an error here on this set after points. So first tackle for the Raiders, 10 metres out, 20 minutes to go here of this game. Hit that like button and subscribe. Only 4 points the difference. Second tackle at the 15. Casey says Panthers going to get run down 2 times in a row. Hey, potentially, mate. Potentially. Now, third tackle at 20, Hudson Young. Jeez, that's a bit of an elbow into Liam Martin. He knew what he was doing there, Hudson Young, too. That was very subtle, but he knew what he was doing there. He really put his elbow into Liam Martin on the ground. Mitchell says, who will be the Raiders halfback next year? They have about 20 hookers and no halfbacks. I think they want to go with Ethan Sanders, don't they? I'm pretty certain they let go of Fogarty because they wanted to go with the youngster of Ethan Sanders. I could be wrong, though. Raiders fans, let me know if I'm incorrect. And that's going to be a great kick again from Fogarty. They'll be 3 metres out, and Thomas Jenkins brings it out to the 15. And first tackle. Let's see if the Raiders can clamp down. They've been decent in second halves, whilst the Panthers have been a little bit faulty in second half, so it's a big 20 minutes to go here. Second tackle for the Panthers at 28. Ben says, but what? Complete your sentence. No, that's Australian. Australians speak like that. We say but at the end of sentences where there's nothing else. Casey says Raiders need this win if they want that minor premiership. Yeah, for sure. I think if they lose it, they probably have to win all 3 of their remaining games if they want to get the minor premiership, to be fair. Because they do have the Storm winning tonight. And do have the Storm winning their final 2 games as well. Yeah, we're looking at bringing up Ethan Sanders and Bleed into first grade, but also want a backup half with the likes of Sanders. Yeah, for sure. Who would be your backup half? Because obviously Ethan Sanders is your backup half now. But who would be? So I know you picked up Ethan Sanders from the Eels, I think, last year. Or was it 2 years ago? Highland says, you excited for 2026? Mate, we're in round 25 of 2025. Why are we talking about 2026? 2026? Why don't we get through this year first? So what? Third tackle now with the Canberra Raiders and they'll be at the 40. We're not even into the finals of 2025 and we're asking if we're excited about next year. That's a great kick again from Jamal Fogarty. That's going to situate itself around the 10. Hits the grass again and Dylan Edwards, crunched out at the 15. Huge tackle there from the Raiders. Edwards is feeling that on the ground. You can see it. You can see it. Raiders also in the hunt for Sandon Smith. Yeah, that would make sense. That would make sense to have as a backup half. And second tackle. I know there's a couple of teams looking in for him. And Panthers will be at the 35, third tackle. Yeah, not sure, Casey. Not sure. We're talking about 2026. We're not even into the finals of 2025. So the Panthers, Casey McLean. And they'll give it to Nathan Cleary. Cleary off to Blaze Talangi. Talangi then to Nathan Cleary. This play looks like it's broken down. And they'll finally, his IO will know. He'll get the offload away as well. Mitch Kenny. And they're at the 40. Sure. Fit tackle. Fit tackle. Oh, you turned them down, did he? Does, mate. Yeah, it's a huge turn down. Yeah, instead you'll play for the Glebe Dirty Reds. Oh, Liam Martin's going to knock that ball on. Ethan Strange could be away here. Ethan Strange is away here. He's at the 20, the 25. Oh, taken down. That was huge. Liam Martin nearly scored, but he drops the ball. Raiders pick it up, and it's going to be now them 0 tackle at 25 and first tackle at 30. Great run from Strange, though. That was a great run from him. I do think it was probably good, though, that they didn't end up scoring from it. Sebastian Chris at the 42nd tackle. Here's a bit of momentum for Canberra. I think it's good they didn't score because they could have come back and seen that there was a double knock-on as well. But first knock-on, Liam Martin. Actually, no, if it was a double knock-on, it would have been a Raiders knock-on, so maybe not. And Raiders, Jamal Fogarty. He'll get this ball to the 42 on the Panthers side of the field. And Raiders now the 35. Hudson Young, he'll get the offload away. They love their offloads here today, Canberra. KO Weeks, he's 38 metres away. KO Weeks looking for a hole. And he'll go to ground 33 metres out, fit tackle. Now Jamal Fogarty, we just need a huge high kick in the air. That's what you've been doing all day. He gives it to Jamal. And Jamal with a high kick. High kick, where's the chase? Brian To'o does grab it though. And he'll bring it out to the 15 on first tackle. Good take under pressure there from To'o. Desmond says that was the offer, actually, Casey, but I'd rather play Div 4 pub footy than Go Pro. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Makes sense. I say, Tungo, no! Well, jeez, he's offloaded the ball to grass, and nearly the Raiders could have easily picked that up, but Panthers second tackle at 20. Highland says, I've watched too many of my teams lose in finals. Yeah, nice. My team's in last, mate. So third tackle here for the Panthers, and they're going to be at 30 metres out, 16 minutes to go of the game. And they'll go left-hand side. Blaze Talangi to the 40 on fourth tackle. At least they're getting a couple of metres now to get themselves out of trouble. And Mitch Kenny off to his eye, Papali'i. He'll run it to the 50, fifth tackle. Cobb says, just Nick Jenkins shoot score. I don't know if you're going to be seeing 2 more tries in this game, man. Especially for 2 specific players, but good luck. So Nathan Cleary. Yeah, it was flat. It was fine. It was fine. It was close, but it was fine. Sebastian Chris picks it up, and he'll be taken down to 15. Scott James, if Fafita leaves Titans, is it better to use that money to bring in a player to replace him or refocus on youth players coming through? Well, you're obviously going to spend that cap space. There's a lot of cap space available with that one. So second tackle out to 21. But it's not easy to sign players, especially with 2 new teams coming in over the next couple of years. Third tackle at 30. This game is just on the edge right now. The next penalty or mistake will be crucial. Next penalty or mistake will go a long way. either team. Jamal Fogarty gets it across to Hudson Young. Now to Ethan Strange. Simi Sasungi. He steps on the inside. No one followed him up. He gets the offload away, and Brian no, that's bad from Simi Sasungi. It's also bad from the Raiders because they should have followed him up originally, and then because they didn't follow him up originally, Simi Sasungi does a brain-dead decision and throws the ball to literally Brian To'o. So it will be Panthers ball now to 48. Get around here, Papua New Guinea, Ali Kales. So third tackle for the Panthers, and they'll be at the 35. That was a bad mistake from Simi Sasungi, mate. Brent Nesley, he's never been a fan of him. And now 6 again for the Panthers at the 35. Luke Garner, he'll be 30 metres out for a tackle. AJ says Nathan Cleary and Mary Fowler will captain the Papua New Guinea Commonwealth. That is the most random thing I've ever heard in my life. Isaiah Papali'i, he'll roll back here to Mitch Kenny, then to Nathan Cleary, back to Dylan Edwards. This ball's just being thrown around everywhere at the moment. And he's lost the ball, Dylan Edwards. He did this a couple times last week, which were crucial. They're lucky they're in an attacking 20, so it won't cost them too dearly in regards to field position. But Edwards has dropped a couple of... Oh, they're going to challenge this. Who's challenging? Challenge from Penrith. Tackle for 2. They're challenging that the Raiders have hit this ball out. They're challenging that the Raiders have hit this ball out here. All right, so Edwards gets away from Owen Paddy. Owen Paddy coming in here. No, he's making a tackle. No, it's a knock-on from Edwards. No, that's a bad mistake. No, Owen Paddy's just making a tackle there. He's just coming in across with his left arm. So, Isaiah Yeo said he's punched it out with both fists. I'm trying to figure out how he's punched out with both fists when it's an open hand, left hand, and he's coming across like this. He can't even actually see the ball. I'm sure he knew where the ball was. I'm sure he knows what he's doing there. But at the end of the day, 2 fists, Isaiah Yeo, really? Really? Is that what we think just happened? Isaiah, you sure? Case has been getting into that popcorn at half-time, Mr. Edwards. Yeah, well, he did it kind of last week too in the second half, which opened the game up for the Storm. All right, Raiders, 20 metres out from their own line. Still going to go 80 metres. 14 minutes left this game. And do not forget, we've got Storm versus Bulldogs right after this. And that's a big, massive game. For the first time this season, those two teams will play each other. And second versus third. Second tackle now at the 30. Alice says go the Panthers. So right-hand side, off to Corey Horsburgh. And Horsburgh will, close to going past the horizontal, but it'll be third tackle at 35. It's fine. Owen Paddy, Josh Papali'i at the back end, KO Weeks. Oh, jeez, good last-ditch tackle there for the Panthers. Otherwise, KO Weeks was that close to getting away. Jamal Fogarty, Ethan Strange. Ethan Strange steps. Ethan Strange gets through to the 45, to the 40. Good post-contact there. He had a player, Jed Stewart, coming through, but he couldn't get the offload away. Now, Owen Paddy, Jamal Fogarty. Let's see this chase. Not the greatest of kicks, this one. It's still a wobbler, though, and Jenkins will get it. Wasn't his greatest kick, that one, and Panthers will get taken down to the 20. AJ, I'm not going to lie to you, bro. We couldn't care less about who's going to captain the PNG team right now, and especially in 20 years' time with Nathan Cleary and Fowler's kids. It's just really random, bro. I'm not too sure why you're asking us about the Papua New Guinean captain in 20 years' time. Third tackle now at the 35, especially in a game as hot and heated as we are in right now, and it's going to be Luke Garner. He'll get this ball to the 45 on 4 tackle. Joseph says, will Raiders copy what the Storm done with dirty tactics? It was a penalty, just to clarify. Fit tackle here at the 50. It was the correct call. So fit tackle here at the 50. And they'll go off to Nathan Cleary. But if the Raiders do get a try and go for the conversion, will the Panthers use a trainer this time as well? So Sebastian Chris, he'll bring this ball to the 20 with a solid run. And it's going to be first tackle, 12 minutes to go here of the game. On a nice edge at the moment, KO Weeks, he'll get it. Oh, that's a knock on. No, it's knocked back. Oh, it's still knocked back here. Oh, it's still knocked back here. The Raiders will just get it at the 13. Oh, they're going to say knock on. Oh, and I'd argue challenge this, Canberra. I'd argue challenge this. You may as well with 11.5 minutes to go. The Raiders are going to challenge this. I don't actually think this gets knocked on. So, I think everything... Yeah, Cooper Croc was saying, I think everything's back here from the Raiders. So that goes up there from Jed Stewart. He wasn't expecting that. He then knocks that ball backwards. I think that was the biggest teller. Yeah. Negates the original knock on. And then doesn't even touch that. So that's still going backwards from... That's an air swing from both Brian To'o and Simi Sasangi. Yeah, no touch there. Yeah, it doesn't touch any player there. So the ball's still going backwards. 11:37 to go the game. Both players are shoulder to shoulder, and that's going to be knocked backwards from KO Weeks. You would assume. We're not seeing the right angle. This angle will show it. Yeah, that's gone backwards. That's fine. Yeah. And we're going to get there eventually, and then KO Weeks picks it up there. So, maybe eye tackle here against Isaac Tunga. No, they're going to say it's fine. Okay, well, anyway, successful challenge there for the Raiders, so it'll be first tackle at the 13. The Panthers don't actually touch that at all, so it's actually going to be second tackle, at the 13. This is very much in the balance, this game. Raiders' errors just have cost them so bad today and so many times. Close to a high tackle. It is a high tackle. It's a penalty. It's a penalty here to the Raiders. It's a penalty. I was saying it was close to a high tackle. I didn't know if they'd call it, but he does go and call it. So Liam Martin gives a piggyback penalty to Canberra. Raiders get super lucky with the ball continuously going backwards, and that is the correct call there. It wasn't actually against Liam Martin. It should have been against Nathan Cleary. All right. So the Raiders only kick it to the 30. Don't like it. I would have gone for a few extra meters, but sure. And now Simi Sasangi brings his ball to the 40. Good solid hit there from Isaac Tunga and Liam Martin. And now Hudson Young runs this straight back into the line. He'll be at the halfway point. Second tackle, trying to catch him offside. Couldn't get it. Owen Paddy. Then off to Joe Tarpany. And Tarpany now, he'll be at the 50 on third tackle. Can't get the offload away. 10 minutes to go here of this belter of a game, guys. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. And 6 again for the Raiders. They're going to be first tackle here. 38 metres away from the Panthers line. 10 minutes left. Comment in the chat. Who do you think wins from here? Do the Panthers win? Do the Raiders win? Comment in the chat right now. That's going to be Corey Horsburgh. 30 metres out, second tackle. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Can Penrith hold him out, or can the Raiders score on this set? Joe Tarpany at the 30, out to Ethan Strange. Ethan Strange gives it to Simi Sasangi, and Sasangi is going to be 23 metres away from the line. Set restarts. 4 for the Raiders, 3 for the Panthers. They give it off to Joe Tarpany, then off to Josh Papali'i, and Papali'i will be 20 metres out and 4 tackle. If you can't score here, repeat set would be beautiful. Out to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty, short ball to Matty Tomoko. Jeez, good run, but the Panthers do line him up at the 10. They go Owen Paddy very quickly, but the Raiders will get stopped 1 metre out. That was actually a nice run there from Paddy, and I think it's fine. You've just got to focus in on defence here and keep him down here. I actually don't mind that play from Owen Paddy. It's a bit different. Oh, here we go. They might be able to drag him back. No, good work from Case McLean. Second tackle at the 5. And now it's going to be just stacked defense in the middle. Good run from Thomas Jenkins to the 13. No, that should be third tackle now. No, sorry, second tackle, my bad. Second tackle. Now Dylan Edwards will be third tackle at the 20. Third tackle at the 20. Now out to the right. Why, Olivia? Why? Oh, okay, sure. I trust you guys. Fourth tackle. Nathan Cleary out to Brian To'o. And Brian To'o taken. Oh, he's still going here. Fifth tackle now at the 44. All right, so Nathan Cleary now will kick this one down into Sebastian Chris at the 15. Now, we understand what you're saying, AJ. We just don't understand why you're saying it, because Papua New Guinea has nothing to do with this game. That's going to be fine here for the Raiders. They're at the 20. Now, second tackle. Matty Tomoko crunched in the tackle. 8.5 minutes to go here in the game. All right, Jamal Fogarty off to Zach Hosking. And Hosking at the 35, third tackle. The crowd is super quiet right now because it's just on a knife's edge, this game. KO Weeks will get this ball to the 45 on fourth tackle. Fourth tackle. Now Jamal Fogarty. Tarpany to Strange. This is actually third tackle unless they haven't updated it. And Simi Sasangi to the 40. Is this fifth or fourth? I thought it was fifth, but this says fourth. No, it is fifth. No, they had it wrong on the screen. And Jamal Fogarty, that's not his best kick, but it goes up into an interesting little area. Panthers drop it. Raiders ball. No, it's gone backwards and Panthers get the ball. Oh my goodness me, that was close. That was close. Okay, yeah, can we deal with that one, please, mods? Second tackle now at the 33. It's super confusing. And now at the 40 and third tackle, 7.5 minutes to go in the game. Yeah. Super confusing. Fourth tackle here. And now 45 metres out, Nathan Cleary. Cleary at the 50. Then, Edwards again, bro! How does he keep knocking the ball on? How does he keep doing this? Dylan Edwards again knocks the ball on. He did this last week against the Storm too. So at the halfway point, the Raiders are going to get a fresh set. What is Dylan Edwards doing these last couple of weeks? He's been lacing his fingers up with butter at half time. It just, for some reason, has been... That's 2 knock-ons in crucial times last week, and that's a second crucial knock-on here in this game, in the second half. Joseph says PNG has nothing to do with this game. That's why I'm so confused, brother. That's why I'm so confused. All right, so right-hand side, Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty then gives it off into KO Weeks, and KO Weeks will get this ball here to the halfway point on first tackle. Jeez, Edwards. He's just sharing the ball with our favourite player, Grassy McGrath. He's very good, Grassy McGrath, with Dylan Edwards. They're very close friends. I think Edwards must be trying to get him some good Dally M points. Out to the left-hand side, Corey Horsburgh. Then to Joe Tarpany. Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty gives it up to Hudson Young. Hudson Young with a bit of a step brings it to the 30 on third tackle. 6 minutes and 21 seconds to go here of the game. Owen Paddy off to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty to Corey Horsburgh. Horsburgh goes around Leota. Leota does hold him back about 27 metres out now. Fourth tackle. Owen Paddy off to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty, short ball out of Mariota. He'll be 20 metres out, fit tackle, 6 minutes to go. Owen Paddy gets it to Jamal Fogarty. Here's the bomb. He'll put that ball to the corner. Good chase through here. Good chase through here. Ball's dropped. Oh, I don't know. This might be a try Raiders. It might not be. It might be a knock-on. I'm pretty certain this is a knock-on Hudson Young. But he might have scored. If Hudson Young had just left that ball for Joe Tarpany, they actually score an easy try. Oh, boy, that's close. I think this is a knock-on here from Hudson Young. He should have left this for Joe Tarpany. Obviously, in the moment, you're not really going to be thinking, oh, this is a penalty Raiders. This is an escort. They're going to say this is Raiders ball anyway. It's going to be a no try, I would assume, but they're going to say that this is a penalty Raiders for an escort against Isaac Tungo. So it's a miss there from the Raiders, and the Panthers. Toll just completely misses that. So right now, regardless, the Raiders will get the ball through a penalty, but we're just looking to see if this is a try. I'm pretty certain Hudson Young knocks it on. And, no try. So it's going to be a penalty here to the Raiders, 10 metres out. Penalty here to the Raiders, 10 metres out. Oh, maybe not. Oh, I don't know if you can give that. Surely not. You can't give that. Yeah, fails. Yeah, no try. Yeah, geez, it was close though. He did make it close, but it will be a penalty here to Canberra, 10 metres out. 5:49 to go here in the game. Eric says refs doing everything in their power to give the Raiders a win. There it is. Every time a team is struggling at some point, it's always the refs' fault. No, the Raiders are trying to force their way over the line. This game has been finally reffed, except for a potentially simultaneous grounding where the Raiders probably should have scored in the first half. But no, this is just a good game right now. Good game between two teams. If the Panthers win it, they deserve to win it. If the Raiders win it, they deserve to win it. It's just as simple as that. As a neutral watching this game, I can tell you right now, it's been a good, solid game. If the Panthers can hold out, they deserve it. If the Raiders come and win it, they deserve it. All right, so the Raiders will be 10 metres away from the line. You can't argue that wasn't an obstruction, an escort just then. But you can definitely say it was a no try. And that's why they called that way. So Raiders now 5 metres out from the line. First tackle, 5 minutes 42 to go here of the game. Hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. We've got Bulldog Storm right after this. Owen Paddy off to Joe Tarpany. And Tarpany is going to be 3 metres out from the line. Oh, second tackle. Owen Paddy. He's got a big pass out to Jamal Fogarty. Fogarty, Ethan Strange! He's going to score a try for the Raiders! Ethan Strange will score with the Canberra Raiders, and it's 16-16 with a kick to come. Oh, Canberra, welcome to the party. Ethan Strange He has scored a try. Want to make sure there wasn't an obstruction here on the inside, but I'm pretty certain this is a try. This is still 5 minutes to go here, but I'm pretty certain this is fine here. Ethan Strange just, yeah, beautiful play. There's no obstruction. There's nothing to be seen. Ethan Strange will score, and here is a kick to take the lead for the Raiders for the first time in this game. Well, you know, the Panthers, they've done well enough to win this game, but again, the second half might be coming to guts. They were up 16-6 about 15 or so minutes ago. When did the Raiders score their last try? 57th minute. It's now, at the 57th minute, they're up, or 56th minute, they're up 16-6, and the Raiders have found a way where they should score. They should get the conversion here to take the lead 18-16, but I tell you, Nathan Cleary's got a boot on him. He knows how to kick a 2-point field goal, but here we go. Comment in the chat who you think wins from here. Olivia says, can they hang on though? Well, they need to still take the lead here first because Jamal Fogarty, like it should be an easy kick, but here's the pressure. Can he handle the pressure in this moment? This is huge pressure to keep yourselves top of the table. If you lose this game and the Storm win the game after this against the Bulldogs, which we will be live for, then if the Storm win, they would go top. So Jamal Fogarty needs to handle the pressure. I know it's an easier kick, but in moments like this, it's difficult. 3:52 to go here of the game. Jamal Fogarty, he will let the pressure get to him. He missed the kick, and that's what I was saying. I knew it. I told you. It was an easier kick. It was an easier kick that he should have absolutely been getting, and he missed the kick. He let the pressure get to him. Big game moments. Big game players. He's missed an easy kick right there. I literally was just talking about that. Jared says, thanks for the stream, watching from London. Appreciate you, Jared. We're here for every single game, mate. We're here for every single game. Shannon says, don't jinx Olivia. Well, we're going to say Olivia jinxed it because Olivia did say, can they hold on from here? Well, they're 16-16, and we're starting off the day with a belter as we imagined. He did shank it. Don't worry, the refs will help them score again with another penalty. That sounds like a crybaby to me. So it's going to be Raiders receiving this ball here at the 5. Just insane to me. Oh, it's a penalty, Raiders! Oh, he's offside off the kickoff. He's offside off the kickoff. Oh my gosh, do they have a boot on him to kick it from 50? Do they have a boot on him to kick it from 50? And Moses Leota is in front of the kicker. It is the correct call. They are offside. They are offside, but do they have the kick in him from halfway under the pressure? You've just missed an easy kick from basically in front. No, they're going to go over the sideline. Oh my gosh, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. The Panthers have given away that penalty, and they're going to get, the Raiders are going to have a beautiful opportunity for Jamal Fogarty to slot a field goal over from right in front. Brenton says way offside. The whole right-hand side of their line was offside by a good metre. Moses Leota was like 2 metres in front. Jamal Fogarty out of Mariota. He's been brilliant today out of Mariota. Really impressed by him off the bench. They're 25 metres away from the line. First tackle. Oh, and Paddy. He's going to go to Joe Tarpany. Then short ball, Corey Horsburgh, Jamal Fogarty, short ball, Hudson Young, and they're going to be 15 metres out. There's no better opportunity than this set to just set up right in front, put the camp posts up, set the camp 10 up, and just kick it from right in front. Corey Horsburgh, third tackle here, 10 metres. Do they go early? Do they go early or do they go for the try? Oh, he's going to stay down and try and claim a penalty here of Corey Horsburgh. No, he's not. He's actually grabbing his left ankle, so there's not going to be, I don't think there'll be. Yeah, maybe unless they're saying this is a hip drop. Oh, no, I think it is a third man from Leota. This will be interesting to see what the ref calls here. This could actually be a penalty. This could actually be a penalty here. Oh, what do they call here against Leota? I do not envy being the referee for this call. And they're going to say it's play on. They're going to say it's play on there. That was a tough one. But they will say it's fine. Jeez, Paddy wasn't focusing there. That's not a hip drop. No, we were talking about third man in, Dad's mate, for a lower hit, but for a dangerous tackle. But no, it was fine. I think they're decoying this. Paddy gets it back at KO Weeks. He has got it. It is no, he's missed it. Oh no, they're checking this. We have to check this. The bunker's going to come into play here. We don't know if he's got this. They're going. The Raiders are challenging this, saying that it's gone in. Well, this angle is going to be super hard to overturn it. There's no blockers set up. You'll love to see that. Hey, Penrith? KO Weeks from right behind. And here it goes. That looks... Edwards... Oh, they're saying he touched it. I don't think Edwards touches this. Edwards saying there's no conclusive evidence to say that Edwards touched that, yeah. So, okay, so it's just going to be Panthers 7 tackle set from the 20. 7 tackle set. Yeah, it was missed double agent. I thought they were challenging that it was hit, but they're actually challenging to say Dylan Edwards touched the ball on the charge down. He does miss it, so it's an unsuccessful challenge. And now the Panthers are going to be first tackle at the 25, and Raiders, you cannot let Nathan Cleary get within 50. You can't let him get within 50 here. It's 0 tackle here for Penrith, and it's Moses Leota. He's going to be at the 30 on first tackle. What a way to start off our Friday night. First tackle for Penrith. Moses Leota rolls it back. They go to Lindsay Smith, and Lindsay Smith right up the middle. He'll be at the 45. That's a great run, second tackle. Nathan Cleary will be in range by the end of this set. He will be in range by the end of this set. Isaiah Yeo, he'll get taken back to the 50 on third tackle. 1 minute 50 to go here of the game. And they go to Dylan Edwards. Edwards now, he'll be 45 metres out. Fourth tackle, 43, 40 metres out. Good post contact there. Nathan Cleary is going to be within prime range on fifth tackle. Lindsay Smith, okay. Panthers, hey, here's an idea. Get your blockers out of the way this week. Fifth tackle here at the 30. Nathan Cleary is going to have to kick it from 40. He goes back into the 45, and he will miss it. He's got to go underneath the post. 7 tackle set for Canberra. He's not perfect, you know. He's not perfect. He's a brilliant player, the best player in the game. But he's not perfect, and he does miss that one. It does go short. And now the Raiders will be 0 tackle at the 28. 0 tackle at the 28. Sean says, not reading that comment out. B. Lloyd said, I don't know how the hell Fogarty missed that conversion. I would have nailed that. Well, I was speaking about the pressure of the moment. The pressure cooker of the moment. And there was a potential, despite the fact that it was really close to it. And then he did end up missing it. So... let's see if the Canberra Raiders can still find a way in this pressure cooker moment. 55 seconds to go here of the game. They go out to the left. Jamal Fogarty now to Ethan Strange. Close to a knock-on, but he does hold it. Third tackle at the 45. Are they going to get within range here for a field goal? I don't know. Fogarty doesn't really kind of give off major, big kicking vibes. Fourth tackle, 40 metres out from the line. Owen Paddy, left-hand side. Great running from Hudson Young right in the middle. He flicks it back. It's going to be... Panthers ball here at the 30. No, it's going to be... What are they saying here? Oh, so it was inconclusive evidence in regards to the Raiders challenge. They're going to challenge this. I'm pretty certain we're going to extra time here, folks. Yeah, I don't know why Hudson Young has offloaded that ball. You're 30 metres out. You go for the field goal here. There's no point in regards to this offload here. Isaac Tungo is there. Oh, this might actually be a knock-on here from Isaac Tungo. And that will be a beautiful opportunity here for another field goal if it does come off Tungo here. It will... Yeah, this is going to be a knock-on. I think this will be classed as a knock-on here. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. This is close. They usually call that knock-on. Yep, knock-on Penrith. Okay, Raiders have got your last opportunity right now. Knock-on Penrith, they call them. Knock-on Penrith. So Raiders will get one chance for a field goal right now. Successful challenge. Tasman says, what a game. This is what we knew. And then we've got Melbourne Storm versus the Canterbury Bulldogs right after this. We might be a couple minutes late if this goes to extra time, but they're going to get a field goal chance from right in front, 30 metres out the scrum. Do they have the distance in him if they have to take it back to the 35/40? You've got KO Weeks, you've got Jamal Fogarty. I think KO Weeks probably would have more of a boot on him than Jamal Fogarty, to be fair. But okay, 30 metres out. They'll have to pass it back here to about the 40. Raiders at the 30. They throw it back. They go out to the left-hand side. Oh, actually, they've got another tackle. That's right. They've got another couple tackles. 16 seconds left here. First tackle at the 22. You got to go now. Oh, and Paddy Jamal Fogarty. He puts it up. He's missed it. We're going extra time. We are going to extra time, ladies and gentlemen. 4 seconds to go here of the game. The Panthers will get a 7 tackle set, but it won't matter because there is 4 seconds left. Jamal Fogarty actually had a good shot at it too. Or maybe not actually. If he gets it on target, Lindsay Smith probably does grab him. Probably does grab it. Well, we're going to extra time here. You would safely assume, guys. And don't forget, we've still got Storm Bulldogs today. We've still got Storm Bulldogs to come up. And Nathan Cleary taking down the 25. Okay, here we go. Raiders, if they win this, they stay first. Raiders, if you lose this, you've got to hope the Bulldogs beat the Storm later on today. But that'll bring the Bulldogs back into play for a potential minor premiership. But it will still be better than the Storm winning to go into first position. Raiders lose, Storm win. Storm go first, Raiders go second. But if Raiders win, they obviously stay in first. Panthers, on the other hand, if they win this game, they will go back up into the top 4 for time being. Sharks are in 4th, Warriors are in 5th. The Panthers would go to 33 points and then just hope the Warriors can lose to the Titans tomorrow. If the Panthers lose this game, then it gets very tricky because they've still got to play the Bulldogs next week and the Dragons in round 27. If the Broncos win, one more game, if the Roosters win 2 more games, and if the Dolphins win all 3 of their games, the Panthers just need to win 1 more of their games. They're still not actually in the 8 just yet. They just need this 1 more win. They've still got a difficult enough a couple of opponents. Dragons, obviously, they were awful last night. But the point of the matter is that they just need that 1 more win. And right now, it's super damn well close. I feel like if they get a draw here, it'll still lock them up realistically because their points differential is good. But this is big time plays here. This is big time plays for both these teams. Guys, hit that like button and subscribe. We're still waiting for the first half of extra time to get going. Steve says Flogerty choking. Yeah, he did miss one from basically right in front, which would have won the game for the Raiders with 3 minutes to go. He did miss it from right in front. Pressure cooker moment. Nathan Cleary would have hit that. You know that most kickers would have hit that, but unfortunately, when the pressure is on, you can miss easier kicks like that, and he did. Abinaya says back-to-back extra time, Penrith. Yep, absolutely. B. Loy says, what if this game is a draw? Well, if this game was a draw, the Panthers would go to 32 points. They have a better points differential than the Warriors and the Sharks. Warriors plus 12, Sharks plus 67, Panthers plus 115. So the Panthers would still go into 4th position and points differential above the Sharks and Warriors, but the Warriors still play the Titans tomorrow. Whilst the Broncos would still have a chance to go above them tomorrow. But again, I feel like the Panthers would have guaranteed their spot in the top 8 if they do get at least a draw here. And then for the Raiders, they would go to 41 points. So no matter what, I think that for me, a draw actually benefits both teams here because the Raiders are on 40, they go to 41. If the Storm win, they go to 40. So the Raiders are still ahead of them. And it would just come down to them. I think that the Raiders actually, with a draw here, might actually get the minor premiership because I do see them win their last 2 games, and it still would be 1 point above the Storm with that. So yeah. All right, first half of extra time has started, guys, of Golden Point. Thumbs up and subscribe. Lindsay Smith, first tackle, gets his ball out to the 15 for the Panthers. Dave says, so good. How many people watching Blaze? Get around it, Dave. So first tackle now. And now Scotty Sorensen. He'll get this ball to the 20 on second tackle. How much extra time do they get? 5 minutes each side. If it's a draw after that, we will see them both get a point on the table. Isaac Tungo goes out to the right and he'll be taken down to the 30. Don't make any silly mistakes here, Penrith. Just complete the set. Go out to the left. Golden points, extra times are all just about completing your set and just not making the mistake because someone's going to make a mistake, and that's usually the crucial blow. They go to the left-hand side with Isaiah Papali'i. He'll get this ball here to the 40, and it's going to be fit tackle now. So golden point rules, guys. Whoever scores first wins. Now, this is not how the finals operate. The finals operate via extra time. This, in the regular season, is golden point, so whoever scores 1 point first wins the game. Sebastian Chris on first tackle brings his ball out to the 20. 4 minutes to go here of the first half of golden point. Chefman says, when Panthers lose, everyone else wins. Well, Panthers haven't lost at the moment. Matty Tomoko to the 30 on second tackle. Second tackle, they just need to get some meters here, Raiders, which for the most part today they have struggled with, but they obviously were able to get their way back into it in the second half when they were down 16-6. They roll it back to Owen Paddy, and Owen Paddy to the 45. Can't get the offload away. Fourth tackle. So Jamal Fogarty up to Joe Tarpany, and they'll get this ball at least into the attacking half, gets the offload away. Owen Paddy then to Corey Horsburgh. Horsburgh steps back into the middle, and they're just going to get this ball basically where Joe Tarpany offloaded the ball. Well, you wouldn't be thinking about a field goal here for the Raiders. Owen Paddy off to Jamal Fogarty. They don't have a 51-metre field goal like Benji Marshall did the other day. The Raiders, the ball was allowed to bounce there for the Panthers, but Edwards will pick it up. Geez, that was really, really dodgy. And it's going to be a penalty here to the Panthers. It's going to be a penalty to the Panthers. That's huge. 3 minutes to go here of the first half of extra time of Golden Point. And the Panthers will get a penalty at the 10 for a high tackle. He's on the ground. Oh, jeez, it's soft. Jeez, it's soft, but it is a penalty. Jeez, it's soft. Tasman said, so if it's a draw, you're saying pure corruption, like more corruption than 2021 F1 WW. I have no idea what you're talking about. So Penrith now, they'll be first tackle at the 45. Cleary will be within range by the end of this set, you would assume. First tackle off to Lindsay Smith. Now second tackle at the halfway point. Marcus says, drop goal. Insomniac Files says Penrith games are so intense. Yeah, this back half of the season, they have had very intense games, even against a team like the Titans. Out to the right, Nathan Cleary, then to Liam Martin. It's going to be third tackle, 40 metres out. They're already within range for a Nathan Cleary drop goal. They give it out to Isaiah Yeo, and Isaiah Yeo is going to be 30 metres away. Raiders, you've got to be prepared for these last two tackles. They might go for it early. They do not go for it early. Lindsay Smith, though, 22 metres out. Okay, Nathan Cleary, he's going to be right in front. They pass it back here. He's going to be 38 metres away. Off the post and bounces back. He's hit the post, and the Raiders are away at the 15. And it's Ethan Strange. He's at the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40, the 45. Ethan Strange! Ethan Strange! Ethan Strange! Ethan Strange! KO Weeks! KO Weeks! What a game! That is fucking phenomenal. That is absolutely insane. Nathan Cleary takes the field goal, hits the post, bounces back in. Raiders get it, spread it left, go the distance. Raiders win. Holy shit. Holy shit. That is one of the craziest finishes I've ever seen in rugby league. That is probably the craziest finish I have ever seen in the history of rugby league. That is wild. Holy shit. That is insane. We've still got to wait for the try confirmation, but that is just absolutely insane. Nathan Cleary, 35 metres out, hits the post, bounces back in play. Raiders get it. Panthers miss the tackles. Try confirmed, by the way. And then Ethan Strange with the step around Cleary gets it all the way to the 30. It looked like KO Weeks when he passes this ball to KO Weeks here at the 25, the 20. It looked like KO Weeks might have actually slipped up a little bit too short, but the Raiders will find a way to win the game. Oh my gosh. That's the best game of the season. The way that's finished, like, that's actually insane. And guys, you've got to remember, we've got the Bulldogs for Storm after this. We're only halfway, lads. Right, well, I tipped right. I said the Raiders would win as the upset. I did tip right. Panthers fans, I know you're heartbroken, man. You gave it a red-hot crack here, but you have now lost two of your important games against the Storm and the Raiders, and you've got the Bulldogs next week. But wow, what a finish here. I don't know if you know why Voss is saying the potential match winner. This is not extra time, mate. It is golden point. All right, guys. Well, I got to jump off because we're going to jump on for that next game, which is the Bulldogs versus the Storm. If you didn't think we could get bigger, well, there's potential for bigger because we have not seen these two teams play so far this season. What a way to finish that game! Obviously, guys, hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. But geez, what a game that was just then. All right, guys, I'll see you in just literally a minute's time for the next game. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next stream. Thanks for watching. Catch you later. Holy damn well shit, Raiders. See ya. Dear.